Hope you're having a wonderful morning. It's going to be an interesting day. We're still playing the bubble melt-up dynamics coming off of the rate cut. You did get a little bit to talk about with like Boeing and China, so some people are looking ahead for that, but realistically, we have Jerome Powell at the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce. That's going to be around 12:45. It should sound like the FOMC. And then when we're done with that, my friends, it is going to actually be the start of some earnings with Micron and a few others. So other than that, we are going to keep our head on a swivel, be on the lookout for any bubble, rate cuts, data, credibility, all of that good stuff. And that should be guiding us. So other than that, my friends, am I live? It's data. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, I was kind of glitching out. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but we have a couple of minutes. 2 minutes. I'm going to be watching NVIDIA, Oracle, Broadcom, Apple, Micron, Costco, Boeing, JD, K-Web, LB, FLD, UAMY, and Iraq. So other than that, we will see where it takes us. I think I got time to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to do that real quick. So good morning, baby. Let's have a good one. Expect it. A reason to believe that we living in it. You could say it's one hell of a decision in it. Hey, if we talking plays, yeah, I'm in it. Let's go, Chad. Game time. All right, man. About 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Fight. Alrighty. Oh, Alex G, baby. Good morning. That's how we started off. You got even a Trump comment on H1B. Let's see what we're dealing with. All right. Anything jack up. The China plays are down a little bit. Ooh, watch healthcare. That one's going to be interesting. And then WBD with that Netflix news. I actually like it, even though I fucking hate that thing. Yeah, healthcare is down a little bit. Actually, NASDAQ down by 0.03. Russell is the leader right now. And then S&P at literally break even. Okay, who's that other one? Let's see if these guys have any options. There they do. Oh, some of them have gapped up already. Amazon, Apple. Again, Apple, Amazon had a nice little leadership yesterday. So be on the look for that. FLD, that one was crypto. Honest, dude, a lot of these chains, on the ones I told you to watch right off the bat, the chains have opened up terrible. So a lot of them are just 240ing and shit. LVS drop in. Watch Win too. And again, any of those like gambling names, just keep in mind China. And then again, we have this stuff related to Boeing. So like I'm saying, it's kind of a China day in and of itself. Amazon down 3. Revolut to spend 13 billion and push for 100 million users. Yeah, Amazon's down. I mean, SPY and NASDAQ, or SPY's break even, NASDAQ barely red right now, just Russell and Dow. Plant. Oh, what the fuck is that? Baba. All right, man. Yeah, Baba's been cold. Staples. It's not gonna hit. Yeah, high ticker. It's small caps though. It's a weird mix right now that we have moving up, and then there's Baba and China trying to wake up. So we'll see. Intel's climbing finally. NVIDIA's down still. Who's the other one? Micron. That's your earnings for the day. Yeah, Kenview up 7. I mean, I think the only negative is going to be those lawsuits if they end up coming in, but most people kind of took it as positive. Broadcom. BBAI. Who is the one that got the Red Lobster? Sound? Yeah, that one's up 7. I think Sound in the Red Lobster one might get pumped. I can't. That one's at $17. Oh my goodness. AMD on the high. And then watch crypto too. You did not get any of that. Yeah, gold. Yeah, watch even gold and silver. GLD's actually doing very well. Silver above 40. Again, I think the next stop on silver is 40. Is it 41 or 42? 41, 42, or 43. And then everything from there, I think you like legit go cuckoo. All right, Tesla. I'm going through all these again. So the plays in the morning, the premiums are just shitty, bro. My goodness. All right, let's see if that one might work. I'm just not too big of a fan of these. Oh, Trump in 15 minutes at UN? Nice. And then again, Powell's going to be in like 3 hours. He's going to be like middle of the day. And Powell's going to be interesting. It's going to be a pre-written statement, but there is a Q&A. So it's going to be live. You'll actually get stuff that can move the market. And then he's just more likely to sound exactly like he did last week. That's what I was trying to explain to people yesterday. You know, when you ask why there's a melt up, other days it's harder to answer. But just remember, it wasn't too long ago that you had you just had the rate cut. You haven't got a long-term update until August. Any news? You just follow along, brother. Follow along. It's super simple. All right, I see one play, but I don't like it. Okay, I think it's shit. I put 20 bucks, and then I'm gonna do one more, and then I think I'm done until we actually get a fucking headline. We need to watch for those plays like NVIDIA yesterday. We learned something. So next time that trigger comes up like that, those are the plays you want intraday. Other than that, though, the ones in the morning, I'm not too stoked on them. You did hear a buy. You did. They actually let it go through too. So sometimes when you hear it, the market maker, they're allowed to rob me now. And they can say, no, do over. Do over. I'm saying, what? What do you mean do over? The fuck you mean? Okay. PayPal vertical 1.5. Let's see how vertical. It's kind of melting up. So I thought you were talking on the candle, but yeah, it's up. I wouldn't say newsworthy though. Not yet. And then Abivi, Nucor, or Newmont. Those are gold plays. Oh, I didn't get to see the calendar too. Let's see what else we're dealing with. What the fuck is that? Until after the data. The data, the PMI is not going to be too big. I wouldn't wait on it. I mean, all you're going to do is melt up until we have something bad or something blows up overseas with rates like we talked about on the watch list yesterday. But as far as today, all you're going to have is Powell. So I don't think there's anything actionable. Oh, Broadcom, finally. Oh, did those... No, those Broadcoms are still holding. Again, the NVIDIAs came down, but the NVIDIAs are still up 400%. That's insanity. I really liked that one yesterday. That's what I'm saying. If we could replicate that again, I don't think it's going to happen exactly the same, but we definitely got to learn something. PMI, 7 minutes. So yeah, watch Broadcom. There's this SPY. I mean, SPY's back to green. Everything's green except NASI right now. And then there's the UAMY. That's the one from the morning. Who else was there? There was like LB, UAM. I'm going from the AM. UAMY, LB, FLD, and Eric. Those are the small caps. Because yeah, FLD, they got something. They got some, what was it? Oh no, FLD, I think they got the Visa. That's the Visa crypto one. You're not trying to debate, but why do I like Intel? Oh, if you're not trying to debate, then you'll accept this easy answer. Because I like it. For 10 years. So yeah. But let's go, man. Move on and pay attention. You're very close to getting banned. So yeah, who did I say? It was LB. Oh, Eric. That's the one I want to see. Yeah, so Eric is giving a buyback for the first time ever. But that one's kind of straight up. Oh, and then remember the AUK and all of that shit. So remember like yesterday. Now look, it's down 4%. Remember I was telling you that dynamic. You're either going to really flush or it's going to do that, come back up again. I think today's going to be a little different. You got saved by the fucking OpenAI shit yesterday. So we'll see. AAL allegedly suffers data breach. And then CoreWeave selling off now. Let's see. I hope Broadcom go. Where's Oracle? All of them are down right now, bro. So this is just Intel up, and then the ones who went down yesterday are going to go up. And then him's on the low. Oh, hi. Hi, Chad. Okay, SPY with the red. Eli Lilly, NVO. Sweet Green's getting murdered. Chipotle up. Yeah, this is just kind of inversing what we saw yesterday, I think. Gutierrez warns world has entered an age of reckless disruption. The fuck? Yeah, Russell, dude. Russell's up by 0.45. Honestly, so look, NASDAQ is down by today. You're going to have a big one in the sense, like you've seen this before. So what's going to happen is either the Russell's going to come back down and then it's going to match up with the NASDAQ, or it's going to... The Russell's going to take off, NASDAQ will be down, and then NASDAQ will recover like half of it. You're paying attention? I don't think you are, brother. So based on the questions you've asked, and then you've missed a lot of key updates, and now you're behind by 30%, I would pay more attention. So I have to ban you now. We've spent too much time on you today. You could purchase a consultation if you need help. It'll be a real estate consultation, but we could help out with that. Other than that, I would just keep listening and watch the free content. But if you can't use the free content timely manner, it's not going to help you. And you guys all have to pay attention, you know. So just watch the videos and do your thing. But if that's not there, then I don't know what to tell you. The key we're talking, start as early as possible and just stay consistent. The smallest consistent action is all we need. So, I wish you all the luck. Intel. Oh, let me check Colt sister. Yeah, if my liberal sister can do it, so can you. You see what I'm saying? Just once a month. Chad, I want to do something really dumb. Tell me why. Lulu. And then Amazon flushing. A couple of retailers are popping. Like Lulu, Dick's Sporting Goods, and then there was one else. kind of like pizza, Intel dumb, yeah, to a certain degree. Nikes. Ain't nothing but a heartbreak. Let me see. I mean, look at the commodities are ripping. That's why I said it was what weirds me out with like gold and silver. Because last time we had anything of that nature, bro, it was a lot worse. Or like anytime you've seen assets and commodities go up, we were talking yesterday like 70s, 80. But it's just weird to think that like where the commodity, like you're not even getting oil moving up. But then go look at gold, silver, copper, all these things. It's kind of ridiculous. Tesla. S&P PMI 52 versus 52.2. So slightly lower, but not bad at all. And then where's the services? Yeah, services was 53.9 versus 54. Slightly lower. So I think that's actually pretty decent. It's not bad, Habibi. Oracle on the low. That work? Okay, bonds taking a bid, probably off the weaker services. Interesting. Yeah, silver and AI. Silver's doing a little bit better though, and then SPY's dancing around. And then CNC and watch of healthcare again. Healthcare and staples, and then like we talked about yesterday, staples were the ones lagging, and then financials, and then look, financials took off. The REITs might rip, just saying. You're saying with a bunch of REIT calls? But yeah, if you watch the watch list, you should be prepared about REITs and relevance to rate cuts, brother. So thank you for your middle of the day pump. We appreciate you. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say. As it points towards a slowdown. I mean, it's all the same. I mean, it's not. I think it's the same setup you had in the last couple months. None of these data sets are moving out of the ordinary, if that makes any sense. Beautiful, wonder, productive, super blessed day. Oh, thank you, my friend. And right back at you. And good morning. So we need more of, bro. What if we just go sideways? You might, depending on how it plays out, but I think it'd be the index sideways, but it would still have things ripping and dying. But that decade bottom that we've talked about, I mean, I still am a believer. Equal weight and going IWM. Oh, I still need to do the calendar. Yeah, and then SPY's about to go up. RTX. You called out Yume. I think I did in the morning. The Uami. Yeah. I did it. I added to the long term. I used margin, but I didn't go crazy. I'm just front running my deposit for next month or next week. I know. But yeah, I grabbed tap for the long term. I was only able to get one for Colt Sister because she doesn't have margin, so she can't front run her deposit, but the other accounts I was able to. So yeah, I grabbed 100 shares of tap and then 15 of tap on the small account and then one on the other. Oh, and then UNP. So yeah, not a recommendation. You will lose money. Shout out to long term, and those are going crazy right now. UNP is. And then gold dropping. I want it that way. Yes, tap. I've been talking. I put on the video and I've been talking about it the last couple days. Ever since I hit that 52-week low, I think I've been pretty vocal. That's why I'm mad I missed the X divvy, but that's what gets it. And then that's my first divvy ad from a very, very long time. You know, think about it. We've only been having growth and everything else, so I would like that. I need it. So I hope it does good. I wish I could get more, but I was going to, but I did start off with how you say. I started off with just I started off by front running the deposit. So whatever amount I used is gonna just come back in 2 weeks or a week. What about the diamond? I am still waiting for the diamond. But like, again, I'm not going to not buy anything waiting for a diamond though. Do you understand me? So, and again, we just got we got a gem this year. We've got some good pickups, but I have to take advantage of value, even if it's small, because if not, it just, I don't want to not, I don't want to regret it. And that's what I'm saying. As long as I can live with it for 10 years, if the diamond comes my way, Thankfully, we have enough assets we could still probably work it in, but I need a good diamond, and right now we're pretty far from it unless there's a black swan. The closest one is NVO, so that's what I'm waiting on. Wouldn't there be incentive to front run if there was an incentive? It would be. But right now, I think the incentive is just the market and the change of ownership. And the fact that this isn't a big mover. So when this thing falls, it's not, just go look at its 20-year chart. We are at a 20-year low almost. So, or at least 10 or 15 years. But yeah, usually I would like the incentive, but then the incentive comes with the higher price. So we got the discount, but yeah, we are going to do a lot of waiting. All right, I think I'm good. All right, I need to type up this other one. It might take me a second. You guys know the vibe, you know? And then we'll see where everything else goes. Other than that, it's Powell in what? In like 2 hours? Are you talking Amazon? Amazon's killing it, bro. He said get rid of him. Alibaba going up, and now actually all of the China names woke up. Oh, is Trump gonna be at the UN? Run it that way. Wait, was he already there? Yeah, K-Web just woke up out of nowhere. Oh no, they just started it 7 minutes ago.
Governance.
They had a headline, or they had an image of him.
Digital compact that was approved in this plenary last year.
Yeah, China, Baba just woke up out of nowhere.
In Latin America and the Caribbean, we are experiencing a time of
9:50.
polarization.
Yeah, so he's supposed to go on any minute now. And then Oracle and Circle on the low. I'll keep this up while I do the other stuff.
Is and was our priority. We are a continent free of weapons of mass destruction, without ethnic or religious conflicts. The comparison between crime
Hey yo, Boeing, that one already went.
The most effective way to combat drug trafficking is to cooperate to suppress money laundering and limit arms trade. Using lethal force in situations that do not constitute armed conflict is
okay. I made UAMI free. That's over 100%.
Other parts of the planet.
It was very, very small though.
Witness interventions that cause greater damage than intended, with serious.
And then Boeing, hopefully you got one of those.
The
Bradley.
to dialogue must not be closed in Venezuela. Haiti has the right to a violence-free future.
Yeah, Boeing, that candle brought him up 30%.
It is unacceptable that Cuba be listed as a country that sponsors terrorism. In the conflict in Ukraine, we all already know that there will be no military.
Yeah, this is on the. I mean, they have the White House video up, but this guy's still talking prior.
For a negotiated way out.
All right.
It's necessary to pave the way for a realistic solution. This implies taking into account the legitimate security concerns of all parties, the African Initiative, and the Friends for Peace group created by China and Brazil can help promote dialogue and a diplomatic solution. No situation is more emblematic of the disproportionate and illegal use of force than the one occurring in Palestine. The terrorist attacks perpetrated by Hamas are indefensible from any angle, but nothing, absolutely nothing, justifies the ongoing genocide in Gaza. There, under tons of rubble,
I hear like a noise in the
are
background.
buried tens of thousands
I can't
of
tell what it
innocent
is.
women and children.
It sounds like he's like squealing. He's
There,
like, no, I'm being dead serious.
we can see that
Do you hear it?
international humanitarian
can't-
law and the
It
myth
sounds like he's being
of
translated.
ethical exceptionalism
Oh,
of the
that's
West
probably
are
what
also
it is.
being buried
They're at the
there.
UN.
This massacre would not have happened without the complicity of those who could have prevented it. In Gaza, hunger is used as a weapon of war, and the forced displacement of populations goes on unpunished. I express my admirations to the Jews who, inside and outside Israel, oppose this collective punishment. The Palestinian people are at risk of disappearing. They will only survive with an independent state integrated to the international community. This is the solution defended by more than 150 UN members, reaffirmed yesterday here in this very plenary, but bared by a single veto. It is regrettable that President Mahmoud Abbas was prevented by the host country of occupying the Palestinian bench at this historical moment. The spread of this conflict to Lebanon, Syria, Iran, Qatar is fueling an unprecedented arms build-up. Madam President,
Madam?
bombs and nuclear weapons will not protect us from the climate crisis. The year of 24 was the warmest already registered. COP30 in the city of Belém, Brazil, will the cope of truth. It will be the time for world leaders to prove the seriousness of their commitment to the planet. Without a complete picture of the NDC's nationally determined contributions, we were walking blindfolded towards the abyss. Brazil has committed to reducing its emissions by 59 and 67%, covering all greenhouse gases and all sectors of the economy. Developing nations face climate change while grappling with other challenges. Meanwhile, rich countries enjoy a standard of living reached at the expense of 200 years of greenhouse gas emissions, demanding greater ambition and greater access to resources and technology. It's not a matter of charity, but of justice. The race for critical minerals essential for energy transition cannot reproduce the predatory and asymmetrical logic that has characterized recent centuries. In Belém City, the world will learn about the reality of the Amazon. Brazil has already reduced deforestation by half in the region in the last 2 years. Eradicating it requires ensuring decent living conditions for its millions of inhabitants. Promoting sustainable development is the objective of the Tropical Forest Forever facility, which Brazil intends to launch to compensate countries that keep their forests standing. But the time has come to move from the negotiation phase to the implementation stage. The world owes a lot to the regime created by the Climate Convention. Climate change needs to be brought to the heart of the UN so that it gets the attention it deserves. A council linked to the General Assembly with the power and legitimacy to monitor commitments provide coherence to climate action. This is a fundamental step towards a broader reform of the organization, which would also include an expanded Security Council into 2 member categories. Few areas have worsened as much as the multilateral trading system. Unilateral measures have rendered fundamental principles, such as the most favored nations clauses, meaningless. They have disrupted value chains and threw the global economy into a pernicious spiral of high prices and stagnation. It is urgent to refound the WTO based on modern and flexible foundations. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this year, the world lost 2 exceptional public figures. Former Uruguayan President Pepe Mujica and our dear Pope Francis, both embodied the best humanist values like no other. Their lives were intertwined with the 8 decades of the UN's existence. If they were still among us, they would use this platform to remember that authoritarianism, environmental degradation, and inequality are not relentless, that the only ones defeated are those who stand idly by, resigned, and that we can defeat the false prophets and oligarchs who exploit fear and monetize hate, and that tomorrow is made of daily choices, and it takes courage to act to transform it. In the future that Brazil envisions, there is no room for the reenactment of ideological rivalries or spheres of influence. Confrontation is not inevitable. We need leaders with clear visions who understand that the international order is not a zero-sum game. The 21st century will be increasingly multipolar. For it to remain peaceful, it cannot fall to multilateral. Brazil is giving increasing importance to the European Union, the African Union, ASEAN, CELAC, BRICS, and the G20. The voice of the global South must be heard. The UN has today almost 4 times more members than the 51 who were at its foundation. Our historic mission is to make it once again a barrier of hope and a promoter of equality, peace, sustainable development, diversity, and tolerance. May God bless us all. And thank you very much.
On behalf of the Assembly, I wish to thank the President of the Federative Republic of Brazil.
Yeah, Spy's just chilling here in the middle. I'm typing up the long-term alert, but yeah, compared to yesterday, we saw some of the laggers come up, but you're not really doing anything else besides those Russell names moving. But like, I think financials are up, and then staples and everything else are just kind of meandering alongside any of the tech. And then names moving, whatever SLE is, and then just Caterpillar. Yeah, that's the small cap for the day. Pepsi. What was that on the low? XLP? Yeah, staples are just flushing. I think it's supposed to be Trump next, but he's not on there.
The Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency Donald Trump, President of the United States of America. I request protocol to escort His Excellency and invite him to address the Assembly.
There it is.
Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter.
Wow.
Because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless. And that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
Oh, is he really? I don't know. Is he going or not? I'm confused.
Hello, Madam First Lady. Thank you very much for being here. And Madam President, Mr. Secretary General, First Lady of the United States, distinguished delegates, ambassadors, and world leaders. 6 years have passed since I last stood in this grand hall and addressed a world that was prosperous and at peace in my first term. Since that day, the guns of war have shattered the peace I forged on 2 continents. An era of calm and stability gave way to one of the great crises of our time. And here in the United States, 4 years of weakness, lawlessness, and radicalism under the last administration delivered our nation into a repeated set of disasters. 1 year ago, our country was in deep trouble, but today, just 8 months into my administration, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world.
You needed the teleprompter for that?
No other
There's
country
it has
close.
to be turned off. I could have told you that, bro.
America is blessed with
Come
the
on.
strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of any nation on the face of the earth. This is indeed the golden age of America. We are rapidly reversing the economic calamity we inherited from the previous administration, including ruinous price increases and record-setting inflation.
Oh, yeah.
Inflation like we've never had before. Under my leadership, energy costs are down, gasoline prices are down, grocery prices are down, mortgage rates are down, and inflation has been defeated. The only thing that's up is the
Tell
stock
them,
market,
Donald.
which just hit
Crush them, Donald, or I will
high.
divorce you, Donald.
In fact, it hit a record high.
I'm
48
sorry.
times
I
in the last
imagine
short
a
period of
different
time.
dialogue.
Growth
That's
is
when
surging,
I love
manufacturing is booming.
I love
The
Melania.
stock market,
You know that? My
as
girl
I
loved
said,
Melania too.
is doing better
But
than
we
it's ever done.
we think she says
and
different
all
things.
of you in this room benefit
I think
by
she's
that.
really motivating.
Almost
That's what I
everybody.
believe.
And importantly, workers' wages are rising at the fastest pace in more than 60 years. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? In 4 years of President Biden, we had less than $1 trillion of new investment into the United States. In just 8 months since I took office, we have secured commitments and money already paid for $17 trillion. Think of it, 4 years, less than $1 trillion, 8 months, much more than $17 trillion is being invested in the United States, and it's now pouring in from all parts of the world. We've implemented the largest tax cuts in American history and the largest regulation cuts in American history, making this once and again the best country on earth to do business. And many of the people in this room are investing in America, and it's turned out to be an awfully good investment during this 8-month period.
It's only
In my
been
first
8 months,
term,
you
I built
guys.
the greatest economy
We talked
in the
about
history
this
of the world.
yesterday.
We had the best economy ever, history of the world. And I'm doing the same thing again, but this time it's actually much bigger and even better. The numbers far surpass my record-setting first term. On our southern border, we have successfully repelled a colossal invasion, and for the last 4 months, and that's 4 months in a row, the number of illegal aliens
this is the 4% part, and I put it in there. I think they can. I think the valuation needs to go down a little more, but at this point, it's at the 4% yield, which you guys know I like. And then I don't know. I think they could be a merger candidate.
All over the world, from prisons,
but even without it, you're going to do well. So I posted it everywhere.
All over the world.
Not a recommendation. Now we go back to waiting.
With the ridiculous open border policy of the Biden administration. Our message is very simple. If you come illegally into the United States, you're going to jail, or you're going back to where you came from, or perhaps even further than that. You know what that means. I want to thank the country of El Salvador for the successful and professional job they've done in receiving and jailing so many criminals that entered our country. And it was under the previous administration that the number became record-setting, and they're all being taken out. We have no choice. And other countries have no choice, because other countries are in the exact same situation with immigration. It's destroying your country, and you have to do something about it. On the world stage, America is respected again like it has never been respected before. You think about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or 1 year ago, we were a laughingstock all over the world. At the NATO summit in June, virtually all NATO members formally committed to increase defense spending, at my request, from 2% to 5% of GDP, making our alliance far stronger and more powerful than it was ever before. In May, I traveled to the Middle East to visit my friends and rebuild our partnerships in the Gulf, and those valued relationships with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE and other countries are now, I believe, closer than ever before. My administration has negotiated one historic trade deal after another, including with the United Kingdom, the European Union, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, the Philippines, Malaysia, and many, many others. Likewise, in a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars. They said they were unendable. You're never going to get them solved. Some were going for 31 years, 2 of them, 31, think of it, 31 years. One was 36 years. One was 28 years. I ended 7 wars. And in all cases, they were raging with countless thousands of people being killed. This includes Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan. It included all of them. No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before. There's never been anything
Never
like
happened
that.
before.
Very honored to have done it. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help in any of them. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations.
Calling out the UN in front of the UN.
In finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way
Sound
up
breaking
stopped
out.
right in the
Yeah,
middle.
and they had the Red Lobster news this morning.
The First Lady wasn't in great shape. She would have fallen. But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations. A bad escalator.
Hey, yo,
and a bad
Eli Lilly and
teleprompter.
Dollar General
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Eli Lilly kind of flushing,
And by the way, it's
1.4.
working now. Just went on.
Check if anybody else starts moving. NVO or
I think I
Hims,
should
they're
just
both
do it
kind of
the other way.
down.
It's easier.
But yeah,
Thank
Eli
you
Lilly
very much.
down about $4,
I
2
didn't
minutes.
think of it at the time because I was too busy working to save millions of lives. That is the saving and stopping of these wars. But later I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there. I thought of it really after the fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous, tremendous potential. But it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. For the most part, at least for now, all...
Oh, I forgot. We have
write a
Powell
really
in
strongly
a
worded
couple hours.
letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war.
Wow.
The only thing that solves war and wars is action.
Yeah, Trump criticizes
Now,
UN.
after ending all
That's
of
hitting
these
wire.
wars and also earlier negotiating the Abraham Accords, which is a very big thing for which our country received no credit, never receives credit. Everyone says that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for each one of these achievements. But for me, the real prize will be the sons and daughters who live to grow up with the mothers and fathers, because millions of people are no longer being killed in endless and unglorious wars. What I care about is not winning prizes, it's saving lives. We saved millions and millions of lives with the 7 wars. And we have others that we're working on, and you know that. Many years ago, a very successful real estate developer in New York, known as Donald J. Trump.
I was going to say, I think he's speaking in third person now.
I bid on the renovation and rebuilding of this very United Nations complex. I remember it so well. I said
There
at the
was a
time
great
that I would do
little
$500
Egyptian
million
boy.
rebuilding everything.
He did wonderful things for the long term. A little Egyptian boy changed the stock market forever. That one little Egyptian is standing at 5'6".
You're going to have mahogany walls.
That one little Egyptian boy, I tell you.
But they decided to go in another direction, which was much more expensive at the time, and which actually produced a far inferior product. And I realized that they did not know what they were doing when it came to construction, and that their building concepts were so wrong, and the product that they were proposing to build was so bad and so costly. It was going to cost them a fortune. And I said, and wait till you see the overruns. Well, I turned out to be right. They had massive cost overruns and spent between $2 and $4 billion on the building and did not even get the marble floors that I promised them. You walk on terrazzo. Do you notice that? As far as I'm concerned, frankly, looking at the building and getting stuck on the escalator, they still haven't finished the job. They still haven't finished. That was years ago. The project was so corrupt that Congress actually asked me to testify.
Is NVO going down now?
Before them on the tremendous waste of money. Because
Yeah, they're both down. A lot of, and then Staples just getting washed. That's 2 days in a row.
I knew it was
Healthcare, financials came up. Watch it, that ends up flipping.
With a guarantee. But they had no idea, and I said it cost much more than $5 billion. Unfortunately, many things in the United Nations are happening just like that, but on an even much bigger scale, much, much bigger. Very sad to see. Whether the UN can manage to play a productive
All right,
role.
Intel's just going to go up on the days everyone's down.
Hand of American leadership and friendship to any nation.
I mean, I think he's he's like a genuinely comedic dude.
Forging a safer, more prosperous world.
Like I don't really agree with everything, even like the bill and a lot of stuff I've called out, but I love listening to him. He's so fun.
To get there, we must reject the failed approaches of the past.
Yeah, I don't know, and I think you guys are really unfair with the whole tired thing. I don't know, man. Have you guys ever had one of your friends like slaughtered in front of the whole world, shot in the neck?
The most powerful and destructive
about a week or two ago,
and
then you have to still do I don't know. I'd give the guy a break. I've lost people in my life, and even I got hit by the Charlie thing. I never met the dude. So yeah, man, I don't know. I I think
Iran.
I think 2016 Trump is
position
coming
is very
back, y'all.
simple.
That was
The world's
last
number
couple
one
weeks were heavy,
sponsor
bro.
of terror
So
can never be
for
allowed
some
to
of you may
possess
not have had
the
that
most
experience
dangerous
in
weapon.
life, and you don't really
That's
understand.
why
But if you
shortly
have,
after
I
taking
mean,
office, I sent the
I think it's
so-called
really easy
Supreme
to
Leader
see.
a
Like,
letter
it,
making a
truly.
generous
So
offer.
I hope you all have empathy
I
in your hearts.
extended a pledge
in many,
of
many
full
ways.
cooperation in exchange for a suspension of Iran's
Yeah, UNH
nuclear
going up now, and
program.
Tesla on the law.
The regime's answer was to continue their constant threats to their neighbors and U.S. interests throughout the region and some great countries that are right nearby. Today, many of Iran's former military commanders, in fact, I can say almost all of them, are no longer.
Yeah, I know. You were
heroes,
just
they're
like
dead.
probably the
And
20th
3
comment
months
that
ago,
said
in
something about
Operation
him being
Midnight
tired.
Hammer,
So
7
I don't know. Like
American
I'm telling
B-2
you guys,
bombs
I'm
dropped
sure
the 14
it's still early, but
30,000-pound each bomb
yeah, everything.
on
I'm
Iran's
just
key
I'm just
nuclear
thinking about what
facility,
happened a couple weeks
totally
ago, and sadly, it was very
obliterating
intense, man.
everything.
And I just
No other country on
death
Earth
isn't
could have
easy,
done what we
especially
did.
if it's
No other
somebody
country
you
has
would
the
consider a
equipment to
friend
do
or
what
you
we
knew.
did.
And
We
then
had
in
the
that
greatest
manner,
weapons on Earth.
I
hate
don't
to
think
use
people
them.
realize what that does
But
to
we
your
did
psyche.
something that for 22
All right, spy in
years
Tesla
people wanted
again.
to do. With Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity demolished, I immediately brokered an end to the 12-day war, as it's called, between Israel and Iran, with both sides agreeing to fight no longer. As everyone knows, I have also been deeply engaged in seeking a ceasefire in Gaza. Have to get that done. Have to get it done. Unfortunately, Hamas has repeatedly rejected reasonable offers to make peace. We can't forget October 7th, can we? Now, as if to encourage continued conflict, some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The reward would be too great for Hamas.
All right, I have to ban
terrorists
chads,
for
and
their
that's on their
atrocities. This
channel.
would be a reward for
It
these
makes sense.
horrible atrocities. Including October 7th, even while they refuse to release the hostages or accept a ceasefire. Instead of giving to Hamas
Fold. That was the one in the morning. That
so
one didn't
much,
work.
because they've taken so much. They have taken so much. This could have been solved so long ago.
Cracker Barrel.
But instead of
Hey,
giving
yo,
in
pop
to
on
Hamas's
Cracker
ransom
Barrel.
demands, those
What
who
the
want
fuck is
peace
that?
should be
1.7?
United with one message: release the hostages.
Oh, I
now.
fucked up.
Just release the hostages now.
Nope. Why? Non-standard? Oh, there's... The fuck is this?
As we have got to come together, and we will come together, got to get it done.
Why
We
did
have
you
to
do that?
stop the war in Gaza immediately. We have to stop it. We have to get it done. We have to negotiate.
Alright, fuck up.
Immediately have to negotiate peace. We got to get
Okay,
the
now it
hostages
goes...
back.
Man, they
We
did
want
it
all
again.
20 back. We don't want 2 and 4. As you know, I got
It's That one didn't... It doubled
all
up,
Steve
but...
Witkoff and others
yeah,
that
I missed
helped
it.
us, Marco Rubio. We got most of them
They
back.
scammed me again, though.
We were involved in all
I think
of
it's my TD, bro.
But I always said the last 20 are going to be the hardest, and that's exactly
I
what
think I
happened.
don't press enter on that
We
one.
have to get them back now. We don't want to get
'Cause that one
2,
wasn't a
and then
non-standard.
another 2, and then 1, and
No, they
then
didn't
3.
steal it. That was just...
Have this process.
It said it
No,
was
we
in...
want
I
them all
was on the
back,
wrong
and we
chain.
want the actually 38 dead bodies back too. Those parents came to me and they want them back.
But
and
it's
they want 'em
showing
back
me.
very quickly and very badly, as though they were alive. They want them. They want them every bit as much as if their son or daughter were alive. I've also been working relentlessly, stopping the killing in Ukraine. I thought that would be, of the 7 wars that I stopped, I thought that would be the easiest because of my relationship with President Putin, which had always been a good one. I thought that was going to be the easiest one. But you know, in war, you never know what's going to happen. There are always lots of surprises.
Yeah,
both
you have
good
Fed
and bad.
Bostic comments. He's the bearish
Everyone
one.
thought Russia would
As
win
of late.
this war in 3 days, but it didn't work out that way.
TTD.
It was supposed
Man,
to be
Cracker
just
Barrel
a
was a
quick little
dud,
skirmish.
but it's still up
It's not making
1.7.
Russia look good. It's making them look bad.
1-1.
No matter what happens.
Then uranium
from
still,
here
and then
on out,
UUU.
This was something that should have taken a matter of days, certainly less than a week. And they've been fighting for 3.5 years and killing anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 young soldiers, mostly soldiers, on both sides. every single week, from 5 to 7,000 dead young people, and some in cities, much smaller numbers, where rockets are shot, where drones are dropped. This war would never have started if I were president.
Nibis now, 109. Cracker Barrel's still going.
It shows you what leadership.
The plays are still, the one I wanted was
leadership
still up
can do to a
100%
country.
now.
Look what
So you
happened
can't
to
even,
the
I mean, you
United
could get, the
States.
bid is lower, but
Look where we are
they've
right
already
now
did
in
the
just a
first
short
move.
period of
No
time.
headline
the
yet.
only question now is how many more lives will be needlessly lost on both sides. China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil. But inexcusably, even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products.
Yeah, so Karen, I'm banning you.
Which, as you know, I found
Because
out
you have
about 2 weeks
770
ago, and I
calls
wasn't
on Meta.
happy.
You
Think
didn't
of it.
say it, but I know
They're
you
funding the
do.
war against themselves.
Here, let me show the chat.
Who the hell ever heard of that one?
Meta trying to
Russia's
squeeze from the
not ready to make a
bottom.
deal
Watch Meta.
to end
Meta
the war
squeeze
again, the United
773
States is fully
coming.
prepared to
Meta
impose
squeeze. What the fuck,
a
man?
very
Meta
strong,
going for
loud,
another
powerful
squeeze.
Tariffs, which would
So,
stop
good
the
call
bloodshed,
outs. You
I
did.
believe,
You
very
called it at the
quickly,
bottom,
but
man, and it was
for those
one would
tariffs
have been
to be
effective.
European nations,
But yeah,
all of you
I
are
think he
gathered here
really
right
put a
now
lot on those
would have
770s.
to join
I think
us
he
in
started
adopting
773.
The exact same measures.
He started 77.3, and then he
You're
averaged
much
to
closer this.
770
We have
here.
an ocean in
And you
between.
see what I'm saying?
You're right there,
So yeah,
and Europe has to step it up.
it's up
They can't be
0.04,
doing what
dog.
they're doing.
0.04
They're
on the
buying
day.
oil and gas from Russia while they're fighting Russia. It's embarrassing to them, and it was very embarrassing to them when I found out about it, I can tell you that. They have to immediately
USO.
cease all energy purchases from
yeah.
Russia.
He's talking about oil.
Otherwise, we're all wasting a lot of time.
And Pinduo Duo.
So I'm ready to discuss this. We're going to discuss it today with the European nations, all gathered
And
here.
JD. So yeah, they're talking European nations. He just said something about oil and energy in Russia.
Speak my mind and speak the truth. As we seek to reduce the threat of dangerous weapons today, I'm also calling on every nation to join us in ending the development of biological weapons once and for all. And biological is terrible, and nuclear is even beyond, and we include nuclear in that. We want to have
Okay, watch
a
nuclear.
cessation of the development.
But again,
of
he's tying that
nuclear
into
weapons. We
sanctions.
know, and I know,
It's funny
I
because
speak
oil
to
will
you
go
all the
up
time. Sir,
or
would
go
you
down
like
off
to
of
see
it, but
I look
nuclear
at
might go up.
weapons that are so powerful.
Maybe that's part of the front run. But yeah, he gave something
just
there.
can't
Disney's
reuse
starting to sell off, about to
We
go
never
into
use
the
them.
low. SPY 2,
The
and then
world
China just
literally
woke
might
up
come to
again.
an end.
S&P flipped red right now,
There would be no
0.02.
United Nations to be talking about. There would be no nothing. Just a few years ago, reckless experiments overseas gave us a devastating global pandemic. Yet despite that worldwide catastrophe, many countries are continuing extremely risky research into bioweapons and man-made pathogens. This is unbelievably dangerous. To prevent potential disasters, I'm announcing today that my administration will lead a
ONON,
international
pop.
effort to enforce biological weapons.
Is that
convention,
2%?
Which is
It's already
going to
up.
be meeting with the top
But yeah, that's
leaders of the
moving. Check
world
Nike as well.
by
Like we said, a couple
pioneering an
retailers,
AI
Lulu and
verification
Dick's, were already going up.
that everyone can trust. Hopefully, the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also. go
Premiums
to
are
one of the
shitty on
early
ONON.
projects
They're jacking
under
up the
AI.
asks.
Let's see how good it is.
Only if you
because
go
a lot of
really
people
far
are
out.
saying it could be
I
one
would
of
go
the great
beyond a
things
weekly.
ever,
Don't touch the
but it
weeklies on
also
ON.
can be dangerous, but it could be put
But
to
yeah, I don't even have a
tremendous
headline.
use
I'm
and
not touching that
tremendous
one.
Good, and this would be an example of that. Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled.
Again, we have Powell too in a little
Your
bit.
countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western
Is
countries.
Stub? Yeah,
and
that's
their
waking up.
borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation,
Halliburton's
and
up
debit cards
8?
to illegal
Is it really?
aliens. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
On the
bro, what the
way
fuck?
To infiltrate
That's
our
not,
southern
dude, that's
border.
not normal.
Millions of people came through that southern border.
Oh, when's the last time this thing moved up 8%?
People were pouring
Yeah,
in,
Halliburton.
25 million altogether over the 4 years.
That's a big U.S. oil company.
Incompetent Biden administration. And now we have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore because they know they can't get through.
That's weird. I don't know. Yeah.
What took place
I don't know
is
what's going on
totally
there.
unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them and not finance them.
Chewy on the high, and then Mexico too. SPY about to go into the low. Nasdaq's been red all day, and then SPY just went red. Again, Mexico's breaking out. I haven't really looked at dollar currencies. Those are stable. Halliburton's one of the bigger oil companies in the U.S. Yeah, TTD. Whoa, dude, TTD really launched 1.8. You guys had that on the first breakout candle, and now it's really going.
All countries to take their own stand.
Okay, SPY into the low.
In defense of their citizens as well. You have to do that because
Paramount, no. I mean, I like it with the Netflix news today, but Paramount and playing that deal has been a losing effort, really.
Your countries. They're being destroyed. Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody's doing anything to change it, to get them out. It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct, they're doing just absolutely nothing about it. And I have to say, I look at London where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor. And it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law. But you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both
yeah, bro, you guys got 2016 Trump back. He's about to go off.
The death of Western Europe. If something is not done immediately, this cannot be sustained. What makes the world so beautiful is that each country is unique. But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders, as we do now, and to limit the sheer numbers of migrants entering their countries and paid for by the people of that nation that were there and that built that particular nation.
More uranium too, the UUUs. VFC, that's another retailer play. Think about it. ONON, all the other ones moving. That's tied to it.
Ruined. Proud nations must be allowed to protect their communities and prevent their societies from being overwhelmed by people they have never seen before, with different customs, religions, with different everything. Where migrants have violated laws, lodged false asylum claims, or claimed refugee status for illegitimate reasons, they should, in many cases, be immediately sent home. And while we will always have a big heart for places and people that are struggling and truly compassionate, answers will be given.
TTD still. Okay, SPY going lower. I think you're broadly, whatever's been red is going red, and then you have a couple of names that are kind of doing their own thing. TTD, one of them, uranium, one of them as well.
Able to send their people anymore.
But yeah, and then bonds are still barely green, holding the floor. But SPY hit a new low of the day. I mean, they're still very elevated, brother. 66.88.
Totally unchecked and unvetted.
So yeah.
But not anymore.
Then China.
According to the Council of Europe, in 2024, almost 50% of inmates in German prisons were foreign nationals or migrants. In Austria, the number was 53% of the people in prisons were from places that weren't from where they are now. In Greece, the number was 54%, and in Switzerland, beautiful Switzerland, 72% of the people in prisons are from outside of Switzerland. When your prisons are filled with so-called asylum seekers who repaid kindness, and that's what they did. They repaid kindness with crime. It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders.
Yeah, TTD, Data Kelb now too. Data Kelb.
I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America,
yeah, again, a couple of these random like middle software poppers. They're not the biggest, they're not the smallest. Those are, and they have value. They're moving right now.
And removing illegal aliens from the United States, they simply stopped coming.
He might talk about China. There was just rumor with Boeing today. One of the ambassadors said something about that.
Act for all involved, because on the trips up, thousands of people a week were dying Women were being raped. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Raped, horribly beaten, raped. On the trip up, the journey up, it was a long walk. It was a long, arduous journey, indeed.
Yeah, Datadog going up more.
It was also a historic victory against human trafficking throughout the region. What we did was a victory, and we saved so many lives of people that wouldn't make the journey. That journey was loaded up with death. Loaded up with death. Dead bodies all along the roads of jungles. To get up, they go through jungles, they go through areas so hot you couldn't breathe. They were dying of suffocation. Areas so hot that you couldn't breathe. Dead bodies all over. By them not coming, we're saving tremendous numbers of lives. My people have done a fantastic job in doing what they did, and the American public agrees with it. I mean, I was very proud to see this morning I have the highest poll numbers I've ever had. Part of it is because of what we've done on the border. I guess the other part is what we've done in the economy. Joe Biden's policies empowered murderous gangs, human smugglers, child traffickers, drug cartels, and prisoners from all over the world. The previous administration also lost nearly 300,000 children.
ON again.
They lost more than 300,000 children, little children, who were trafficked into the United States.
Yeah, Mag 7's just not doing it. Meta's coming up.
Many of whom have been raped,
Squeeze!
and abused.
Oh, I mean, no, yeah, but
sold.
that's your only Mag 7 working right now.
Nobody talks about that. The fake news doesn't write about it. With many others, young children who are missing or dead. And we found a lot of these children, and we're sending them back, and we've been sending them back to their parents. They said, nobody knows.
I'm sorry, I just saw it get near 770, and
give us a country, and we'll find out, and we'll figure it out, and we'll bring them back to their homes. And the mother and father rush to the door, and their tears.
It's hard to control myself. I know what you guys go through.
Seeing their son or daughter, their little son or daughter again. We've done almost 30,000 of them so far. Any system that results in the mass trafficking of children is inherently evil. Yet that is exactly what the globalist migration agenda has done, and it's what it's all about. In America, those days, as you know, are over. The Trump administration is working, and we are continuing to work to track down the villains that are causing this problem, and also, as I said, to
UWMC and then Broadcom. I don't know if the other real estate stocks are going. Broadcom's still up. The premiums aren't moving on Broadcom, though.
More than 300,000. They're lost or they're dead. They're lost or they're dead because of the animals that did this. To protect our citizens, I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as and you see this, and you see it happening right before your eyes. Let's put it this way, people don't like taking big loads of drugs in boats anymore. There aren't too many boats that are traveling on the seas by Venezuela. They tend not to.
You blow up a couple, they get nervous. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it?
Stop drugs coming into our country by sea. We call them the water drugs. They kill hundreds of thousands of people.
I'm gonna try to control myself,
also
but Meta is on the high, you guys.
Savage
770
cartels as far as foreign terrorist organizations, along with two bloodthirsty transnational gangs, probably the worst gangs anywhere in the world.
That's literally your only Mag 7 that's in the green right now.
Tren de Aragua is from Venezuela, by the way. Such organizations torture, maim, mutilate, and murder with impunity. They're the enemies of all humanity. For this reason, we've recently begun using the supreme power of the United States military to destroy Venezuelan terrorists and trafficking networks led by Nicolas Maduro. To every terrorist thug smuggling poisonous drugs into the United States of America, please be warned that we will blow you out of existence. That's what we're doing. We have no choice. Can't let it happen. They're destroying. I believe we lost 300,000 people last year to drugs, 300,000. Fentanyl and other drugs. Each boat that we sink carries drugs that would kill more than 25,000 Americans. We will not let that happen. Energy is another area where the United States is now thriving like never before. We're getting rid of the falsely named renewables. By the way, they're a joke. They don't work.
They're a joke. They don't
They're not
work.
strong enough to fire up the plants that you need to make your country great. The wind doesn't blow. Those big windmills are so pathetic and so bad, so expensive to operate. And they have to be rebuilt all the time, and they start to rust and rot. Most expensive energy ever conceived, and it's actually energy. You're supposed to make money with energy, not lose money. You lose money, the governments have to subsidize. You can't put them out without massive subsidies. And most of them are built in China, and I give China a lot of credit. They build them, but they very few wind farms. So why is it that they build them and they send them all over the world, but they barely use them? You know what they use? Coal. They use gas. They use almost anything, but they don't like wind. But they sure as hell like selling the windmills. Europe, on the other hand, has a long way to go, with many countries being on the brink of destruction because of the green energy agenda. And I give a lot of credit to Germany. Germany was being led down a very sick path, both on immigration, by the way, and on energy. They were going green, and they were going bankrupt. And the new leadership came in, and they went back to where they were, with fossil fuel and with nuclear, which is good. It's now safe. You can do it properly. But they went back to where they were, and they opened up a lot of different plants, energy producing plants, and they're doing well. I give Germany a lot of credit for that. They've said this is a disaster, what's happening. They were going all green.
Cruise lines are doing great, and then airlines,
that's what it represents.
they came back. Airlines are not doing too well.
It's not politically
And then
correct.
China, meanwhile, that's gone red to green now, still running.
I'm here to tell the truth.
Meta's the only one in the green
I'm in New York City.
as far as big tech.
I'm feeling a lot safer.
Nvidia's coming down now. And then, yeah, we haven't done much, though. SPY, NASDAQ, only ones in the red. Russell's still just under 1%.
Was the crime capital of America. Now it's after 12 days, it's a totally safe city. Everyone's going out to dinner. They're going out to restaurants. Your wife can walk down the middle of the street with or without you. Nothing's going to happen. My people have done a fantastic job. And yes, I called in the National Guard. And the National Guard took
Apple
care of
on the
business.
low.
They weren't
Apple
politically
flushing.
correct, but they took care of business.
It's only down by 0.3 for now. Let's see if that starts to develop.
Where they came from, the countries where they came from, or put them in jail.
I don't see a headline unless there's something on Twitter.
Washington, D.C. is now
Again,
a
that
totally
Ming
safe
Chi
city
guy.
again, and I welcome you to come. In fact, we'll have dinner together at a local restaurant, and we'll be able to walk. We don't have to go by an armor-plated vehicle. We'll walk right over there from the White House. They've given up their powerful edge, a lot of the countries that we're talking about, in oil and gas, such as essentially closing the great North Sea oil. Oh, the North Sea, I know it so well. Aberdeen was the oil capital of Europe. And there's tremendous oil
Okta again, and then Sound, Roku,
Tremendous
and then you still got TTD and
with
Datadog.
the
Estee Lauder on the low.
Prime
Apple
Minister,
on the
like
low
a lot.
too,
They said, "You see,
0.3, no
we're the
headline yet.
greatest asset." They essentially closed it by making it so highly taxed that no developer, no oil company can go there. They have tremendous oil left, and more importantly, they have tremendous oil that hasn't even been found yet. And what a tremendous asset for the United Kingdom. And I hope the Prime Minister is listening, because I told it to him 3 days in a row. That's all he heard.
Oh, yeah, we did survive the rapture. I forgot.
See them do well. I want to stop seeing them ruining that beautiful
Arm on the low.
Scottish and English countryside with windmills and massive
Data dog, data kelb.
7 miles by 7 miles, taking away farmland.
Where's Lulu? Did it come
We're
back
not
from
letting
earnings?
this
No.
happen in America.
Yeah, you got a long way to go.
1982, the executive director
Roku
of
and
the United
Joby now.
Nations Environmental Program,
And then
predicted
AP,
that by the year 2000,
small cap, getting its
climate
first
change
bid.
would cause a global catastrophe. He
All
said
right, then
that
Apple
it
off the
will be
bottom.
irreversible, as any nuclear holocaust would be. This is what they said at the United Nations. What happened? Here we are. Another UN official stated in 1989 that within a decade, entire nations could be wiped off the map by global warming. Not happening.
Not happening.
Global cooling. If you look back years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, they said global cooling will kill the world. We have to do something. Then they said global warming will kill the world. But then it started getting cooler. So now they could just call it climate change, because that way they can't miss. It's climate change. Because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling.
All right,
All
so I kind of want to do a push-up.
Made by the United Nations.
If he's going to keep going,
others,
I'm going to stretch.
often for bad
I got some
reasons,
toe workouts.
were wrong. They were made by stupid people.
I think we only had 2 plays. I mean, we added to the long term. I did 2 little flips, made one of them free already. And then we got one more. And then that's it, though.
Is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things, you know? They actually said during the campaign, they had a hat, the best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything.
Everything.
And I'm telling you that if you don't get away from the green energy scam, your country is going to fail. And if you don't stop people that you've never seen before, that you have nothing in common with, your country is going to fail. I'm the president of the United States, but I worry about Europe. I love Europe. I love the people of Europe. And I hate to see it being devastated by energy and
yeah, he like me, bro. He got his wife from Europe.
This
you know what I'm saying? Like,
monster destroys
he loves
everything
Europe,
in
bro.
its wake, and they cannot let that happen any longer. You're doing it because you want to be nice. You want to be politically correct, and you're destroying your heritage. They must take control strongly and immediately of the unmitigated immigration disaster and the fake energy catastrophe before it's too late. The carbon footprint is a hoax made up by people with evil intentions, and they're heading down a path of total destruction. You know, the carbon footprint was a big, big thing a few years ago. I remember hearing about the carbon footprint, and then President Obama would get into Air Force One, a massive Boeing 747, and not a new one, an old one with old engines that spew everything into the atmosphere. He'd talk about the carbon footprint, we must do something. Then he'd get in and he'd fly from Washington to Hawaii to play a round of golf. And then he'd get back onto that big, beautiful plane and he'd fly back and he'd talk about, again, global warming and the carbon footprint. It's a con job. At extreme cost and expense, Europe reduced its own carbon footprint by 37%. Think of that. Congratulations, Europe. Great job. It cost yourself a lot of jobs, a lot of factories closed, but you reduced the carbon footprint by 37%. However, for all of that sacrifice and much more, it's been totally wiped out and then some by a global increase of 54%. Much of it coming from China and other countries that are thriving around China, which now produces more CO2 than all the other developed nations in the world. So all of these countries are working so hard on the carbon footprint, which is nonsense, by the way. It's nonsense. You know, it's interesting. In the United States, we have still radicalized environmentalists, and they want the factories to stop. Everything should stop. No more cows. We don't want cows anymore. I guess they want to kill all the cows. They want to do things that are just unbelievable. And you have it too.
And you have it,
you know, we have a border, strong, and we have a shape, and that shape doesn't just go straight up. That shape is amorphous when it comes to the atmosphere. And if we had the most clean air, and I think we do, we have very clean air. We have the cleanest air we've had in many, many years. But the problem is that other countries, like China, which has air that's a little bit rough, it blows. And no matter what you're doing down here, the air up here tends to get very dirty because it comes in from other countries where their air isn't so clean. And the environmentalists refuse to acknowledge that. Same thing with garbage. In Asia, they dump much of their garbage right into the ocean. And over about a 1 week and 2 week journey, it flows right past Los Angeles. You've seen it. Massive amounts of garbage, almost too much to do anything about. Flowing past Los Angeles, past San Francisco. And then somebody will get in trouble because he dropped a cigarette on the beach. The whole
He looks
thing
younger.
is crazy.
She's not doing the hand thing, you're right. But he looks like, this looks like 2016 Trump. I think it's because the UN background, that's why. I'm just used to seeing him here 10 years ago. You have seen him before this 10 years ago. Almost. Actually, 10 years and 2 months.
Rules that are put down
JD again.
to polluting countries that break the rules and are making a fortune. They're making a fortune. European electricity bills are now 4 to 5 times more expensive than those in China, and 2 to 3 times higher than the United States. And our bills are coming way down. You probably see that our gasoline prices are way down. You know, we have an expression, drill.
Nós reduzimos os custos
What?
de
Why the fuck are you
energia,
translating him?
porque nós faremos como a expressão, vamos fazer tudo isso, reduzir os custos de energia.
What the fuck are you
e
doing?
os custos diminuíram nos Estados Unidos. Por exemplo, se você olhar
Electric costs
como
come way
a
down over the
expressão, nós
last
vamos fazer
As a
tudo
result,
isso, reduzir os
every-
custos
They're all
de
like this.
energia
Why are they fucking his
e
speech
os
up?
custos diminuíram nos Estados Unidos.
They're probably sick of him talking all that shit.
drill, baby drill, and that's what we're doing. We're going to be much lower in a year.
You got to
from
go to
now.
the White House one now.
But they've come way down over the last
Literally,
year.
the White every speech
As
is
a
fucked up
result,
except the White House
every
one.
air conditioner is like very uncommon to see one in some of these countries because the electric costs are so high. So while the U.S. has approximately 1,300 heat-related deaths annually, that's a lot, Europe loses more than 175,000 people to heat deaths each year.
That's
Because
crazy.
the costs are so expensive, you can't turn on an air conditioner.
TXN on
What
the
is
high.
that all about? That's not Europe. That's not the Europe that I love and know. All in the name of pretending to stop the global warming hoax. The entire globalist concept of asking successful industrialized nations to inflict pain on themselves and radically disrupt their entire societies must be rejected completely and totally, and it must be immediate. That's why in America I withdrew from the fake Paris Climate Accord, where, by the way, America was paying so much more than every country. Others weren't paying. China didn't have to pay until 2030. Russia was given an old standard that was easy to meet, a 1990 standard. But for the United States, we're supposed to pay like $1 trillion. And I said, this is another scam. The fact is, the United States has been taken advantage of by the world for many, many years, but not any longer, as you probably noticed. I unleashed massive energy production and signed historic executive orders to hunt for oil, but we don't have to do much hunting because we have the most oil of any nation anywhere, oil and gas in the world. And if you add coal, we have the most of any nation in the world. Clean, I call it clean, beautiful coal. You can do things today with coal that you couldn't have done 10 years ago, 15 years. So I have a little standing order in the White House. Never use the word coal, only use the words clean, beautiful coal. Sounds
Wow.
much better, doesn't it?
Does.
But we stand ready to provide any country with abundant,
Wayfair on the wall. That
affordable
was already
energy
selling, yeah.
supplies if you need
They're
them,
going
and
round
most
two.
of
They
you
had
do.
a little 1.5, and now they're
We're
taking
proudly
it into the
exporting
red.
energy all over the world. We're now the largest exporter. In the United States, we want trade and robust commerce with all nations, everybody. We want to help nations. We're going to help nations. But it must also be fair and reciprocal. The challenge with trade is much the same with climate. The countries that followed the rules, all their factories have been plundered. It's really sad to watch. They've been broken. They've been broken by countries that broke the rules. That's why the United States is now applying tariffs to other countries.
Top of the hour in
and
2
much
minutes.
as these
Trump's
tariffs
still going.
were,
No
for many years,
headlines, and then
applied to
Powell in a
us,
couple of hours.
Uncontrollably applied to us.
SPY slightly
We've
lower.
used
NASDAQ
tariffs
only one in the red
as a
too, and then
defense
Russell's
mechanism
slowly climbing up
under
right
the
now.
Trump administration, including my first term, where hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs were taken in. And by the way, we had the lowest inflation, and now we have very low inflation. The only thing different is that we have hundreds of billions of dollars flowing into our country. But this is how we will ensure that the system works for everyone and is sustainable into the future. We're also using tariffs to defend our sovereignty and security throughout the world, including against nations that have taken advantage of former U.S. administrations for decades, including the most corrupt, incompetent administration in history, the sleepy Joe Biden administration. Brazil now faces major tariffs in response to its unprecedented efforts to interfere in the rights and freedoms of our American citizens and others, with censorship, repression, weaponization, judicial corruption, and targeting of political critics in the United States. I have a little problem saying this because I must tell you, I was walking in and the leader of Brazil was walking out. We saw him and I saw him, he saw me, and we embraced. And then I'm saying, can you believe I'm going to be saying this in just 2 minutes? But we actually agreed that we would meet next week. We didn't have much time to talk, like about 20 seconds. They were in retrospect, I'm glad I waited because this thing didn't work out too well. But we did talk, we had a good talk, and we agreed to meet next week, if that's of interest. But he seemed like a very nice man, actually. He liked me, I liked him. But if you, and I only do business with people I like. When I don't like them, I don't like them. But we had, at least for about 39 seconds, we had excellent chemistry. It's a good sign. But also in the past, Brazil, can you believe this, unfairly tariffed our nation, but now because of our tariffs, we are hitting them back, and we're hitting them back very hard. As president, I will always defend our national sovereignty and the rights of American citizens. So I'm very sorry to say this, that Brazil is doing poorly and will continue to do poorly. They can only do well when they're working with us. Without us, they will fail, just as others have failed. It's true. Next year, the United States will celebrate the 250th anniversary of our glorious independence, a testament to enduring power and American freedom and spirit. We will also be proudly hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and shortly thereafter, the 2028 Olympics, which is going to be very exciting. I hope you all come. I hope that countless people from all over the globe will take part of these great,
again, his comments there on the Brazilian stuff and Lula, that's having an effect. Look at EWZ.
In the miracles of history that began in July 4th, 1776, when we founded the light to all nations, and it's something really that an amazing thing came out of that date. It's called the United States of America. In honor of this momentous anniversary, I hope that all countries who find inspiration in our example will join us in renewing our commitment, values, and those values really that we hold so dear together. Let us defend free speech and free expression. Let us protect religious liberty, including for the most persecuted religion on the planet today. It's called Christianity. And let us safeguard our sovereignty and cherish qualities that have made each
Dad, you know that pissed
so
so many
special,
people off by saying that.
incredible, and extraordinary.
God bless you, Donald
In closing,
Trump.
I just want to repeat
bless
that
you.
immigration and the high cost of so-called green renewable energy is destroying a large part of the free world and a large part of our planet. Countries that cherish freedom
Persecuted by who though? You motherfucker,
policies
you.
on these two
That's
subjects.
Because if he said
You need
Muhammad,
strong
you wouldn't have
borders
said shit.
and traditional
Let's be
energy
real.
sources if you are going to
If
be
he
great
said
again.
Islam, you would have said, okay.
Whether you have come
Yes,
from
yes,
north
yes.
or south,
The
east
people,
or west,
yes,
near
I
or
love
far,
you. Oh, yes,
every
I
leader
accept you.
in this
Yes, you're
beautiful
looking-
hall
you're the
today
persecution,
represents
brother.
a rich culture,
You guys
a
won't even let
noble
Christian
history,
people
and a
be
proud
themselves
heritage
without
that makes
running
each
your mouth.
nation majestic
So
and
thank
unique.
God for people
unlike
like Trump,
anything
and you
else
know
in
what? I
human
cuss a
history
lot, but
or
at least I
any
can
other
tell y'all to
place
stop acting like
on
a
the face
fucking
of the
fool.
earth.
So,
From
amen.
London to Lima,
That, you guys are the
from
persecution.
Rome to Athens, from
Think
Paris
about it.
to
You don't
Seoul,
apply that
from
logic
Cairo
to any
Tokyo,
religion.
and
But
Amsterdam
Jesus, you run
to
your
right
mouth.
here in New York City.
So, Don't
we
act
stand
dumb.
on the shoulders of the leaders and
I'm not mad
legends,
at you, but
generals
don't
and
act dumb.
giants, heroes and titans
Please,
who won
you
and
guys
built
look
our
foolish.
beloved
You gotta
nations,
act. Just
all
be
of our
real about it.
nations,
You see it
with
everywhere.
their own courage,
And if
strength,
not,
spirit,
go
and
talk
skill.
about Islam.
Our
Go talk about
ancestors
Jewish.
climbed to
Go
mountains,
talk about
conquered
any
oceans,
religion,
crossed
brother.
deserts, and
With the
trekked
same
over
fucking attitude you
wide
do with
open plains.
Jesus, y'all wouldn't.
They charged
Let's just be
into
real. You're too
thunderous
scared
battles,
to. You guys are
plunged into
terrified.
grave dangers,
You only
and
talk
they
about Jesus
were
because you know he
soldiers
won't
and
do anything to
farmers
you.
and workers
'Cause
and
he's
warriors
love.
and explorers and patriots. They built towns into
Let's
cities,
be real.
tribes into kingdoms, ideas into industries, and small islands into mighty empires. You're a part of all of that. They were champions for their people who never gave up and who never, ever gave in. Their values defined our national identities.
Amen.
Their visions forged our magnificent destiny. Everybody in this room is a part of it in your own way.
They asking me
Each of
which
us
God.
inherits the deeds
The
and
only
the
one you
myths,
hating on.
the triumphs,
Amen,
the
amen.
legacies of our own heroes and founders who so bravely showed us the way. Our ancestors gave everything for
Baidu getting
homelands
whopped.
that they defended with pride, with sweat, with blood, with life, and with death. Now the righteous task of protecting the nations that they built belongs to each and every one of us. So together let us uphold our sacred duty to our people and to our citizens. Let us protect their borders, ensure their safety, preserve their cultures, treasure, and traditions,
You
and
got
fight
banned
for
for
their
Jesus
precious
thing, and this dude
dreams
gets
and
to
their
kick it.
cherished freedoms.
I think it's about what you said
in
in your
friendship
heart
and
at the time, and even your
Really
reaction.
a beautiful
Ironically,
vision.
you're getting banned
Let
again,
us all work
and he's not.
together to build
It's
a
just like
bright,
the Bible verse when there's
beautiful
two people.
planet, a planet that
And
we
Mary
all
said,
share,
"How
a
is this
planet of
possible?"
peace
The
and
Lord
a world
showed her.
that is richer,
The other guy
better,
said,
and more
"How is this
beautiful than
possible?"
ever
Same
before.
exact
That can
thing.
happen.
The Lord shut
it
him
will
up.
happen. It will happen, and I hope it can happen.
What's in your heart,
and
brother?
Start right now, right at this moment. We'll turn it around. We're going to make our countries better, safer, more beautiful. We're going to take care of our people. Thank you very much. It's been an honor. God bless
It's your
the
birthday!
nations of the world. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye. I love that ending. And Rose Horda. Happy birthday, bro. Are you kidding? They're all clapping for you. I hope you know that. You hear that? That's for you, brother. 27, man. That's
On behalf of the
you're very
Assembly,
mature. I thought you were
wish to
older than that,
thank
brother.
The President
That's
of the
amazing.
United States.
Good for you. Get that long term. Let's do a lot more. Oh, that's it? Oh, I thought, no, okay, that's it. President of the United States. Donald John Trump, ladies and gentlemen. Donald John Trump. And yes, happy birthday. Stripe in talks to buy back stock from investors. It did PDD because Baidu started flushing. JD is staying up, and then, yeah, Baidu's the only one. We the hottest in the world right now. Just touched down in Long Tom Town. Yeah, and they give me 10%. We just sold out of the short term. Now we buy in the long term. Take me on a run. I want to buy some stocks. I really want to buy some houses with you. You should buy in America, boy. Don't be Andrew Tate. Do, 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 do. All right, man. Well, it's 11. Still super early. 23 minutes till Euro close. ARM is flushing now. But yeah, man, not much. Today was kind of giving it back. I mean, we've had a lot of mania for the last couple of days. Kept melting up. Some of the underperformers yesterday went up, and then you're kind of just dribbling down. There's a small pockets. Actually, let me get you a checkup. Tap over Budweiser's tap is 50% lower than book value. Every other alcohol company is at book value or higher, and Tap has a very sustainable high free cash flow, sustainable debt, and then it hit 4% divvy. So that's what they asked me, because there's no incentive. Like I'm saying, we missed ex-dividend, and that's why I think we got the extra 4% off, but you guys know me in 4%. So if it meets every metric and then it's paying me 4% to hold it, I don't think it's perfect, but I have not gone wrong doing that. I guess Pfizer might be a 4%er gone wrong. That one was 4%, and that one didn't materialize. Other than that, MPW was higher than 4%. Yeah, 3M is up 70%. We did the same thing on that one. But yeah, 4% is my sweet spot. If it's high quality, 20-year low, and it's going to be around for 20 years, I'm taking it. Even then, I think alcohol is dead. That's the crazy part. You guys are right. And people are like, the young kids aren't going to buy it, and I agree. I don't want them to buy alcohol, but I do think it's going to still be around. So I don't think you're going to get growth, but I think it's going to last for 20 years. And again, at 10 times, 8 times, 9 times earnings, I mean, in 10, 20 years, you're going to get your money back, hopefully with a fair return. So, and then if it does become a buyout candidate, I think we get major upside. But other than that, I'm not expecting a lot. And just think about it now. In a weird way, TAP is going to be yielding the same, if not more, than the Fed funds rate, depending on what happens with the bonds. Yeah, Pfizer could get its act together, but usually those 4% ones, man, it's not it hasn't been bad. Google's kind of taking a candle straight up. I see Exxon deal, but I don't see anything else. And then Gemmy, you got, why is Gemmy going crazy? That's one of the what's it called? How you call it? The crypto. But yeah, Google's waking up. The history is a little funky. Yeah, that's they did have that cut in 20 with everybody else, but then that led to their run up. But for now, I mean, the free cash flow is solid. EBITDA is only growing, surprisingly. You're half of your book value. They don't have any crazy debt. And then it's like 20-30% payout ratio. So that's a 4%er I'm pretty confident in. Like, I don't think it's going anywhere. At least not until there's another downside in terms of the trend. But I don't think alcohol trends are going to pick up. I just think they're going to really remain stable. Taco. I like the Google. It kind of, I don't know, I want something a little more, but you guys remember in a video yesterday, it actually had a lot more volume. Yeah, it is a value play. So just keep that in mind, because that's what we talked about the last couple days. Like Constellation, and I think even Budweiser have different and better portfolios. Constellation's the best. Comcast, I'm not too big of a fan of communications. Like, we had AT&T, we still have it, but we stopped really buying it. I like Hormel, actually. That one, I don't know why they've been going down, but that's a portfolio we've talked about. That's like food. That one's not food service or restaurant. But yeah, they actually even had a bad quarter. You could get back 10 years in time. I'm actually not too against that. I'd have to look into their payout ratio and all that. If we do see a recession in 3 months, will people drink more? They will, and that's kind of the logic, is that whether we have a recession or not, I think that, again, I think it's going to be stable. That's all I'm looking for. Good dividend, stability. I think we've already bought enough growth. I mean, we did a lot into Intel. We even grabbed the CMG and the Sweet Greens. So I think with all the other stuff we're holding now, this could give us a good balance setting up into next year. Coca-Cola would have to go down on the year for it to be interesting. UPS is so bad you won't take the 7% dividend? No, you just don't listen. Like I'm telling you, UPS is going to cut it. Or they might cut it. There's not stability in that. That's the problem I'm worried about. Even Target, I like Target, but Target doesn't have stability. I mean, people are calling it either it's tied into social issues, racism, underperformance. Like these aren't stable there. I like both of those names, but like I'm saying, alcohol is already destroyed. Alcohol has been killed. It's already down. We're talking, we could go back 20 years in time, and then it would be another 4 years or a huge black swan for that dividend to change, in my opinion. So that's where, we want stability. That's what I want now, because I already took my lack of stability in Intel and some of those other names. But yeah, I still like UPS. Believe me, I like all of them, man. I want to buy all of them. I just don't have enough money to buy all of them. Or if I did split it up, I wouldn't have enough. And then I'd spread myself too thin. Yeah, you could just look at the payout ratio. Very simple. When they cut, what's the worst case scenario? That's the problem, brother. We don't know. So we don't know if they're going to cut it, how much they're going to cut it. Are they going to remove it completely? We just don't know. So I'm not scared of it. That's what I'm saying. But just even that one, we missed ex-dividend too. And then it has more instability. So I'm just going to wait until... Yeah, they pay out $2 billion more than their free cash flow. But payout ratio will let you know. If a payout ratio is usually running more than like 70%, that starts to get really hot. And that means they're paying out more of their profit than their to their dividend than they're making, or a majority of it. I'm really not afraid of them. Only what I can become. I am the bullet and the gun. They could go up if they cut their dividend. They could, but I just don't think they will. I mean, it's not even like an issue. They're just doing shitty because alcohol sales are going down. You guys understand? That's where it's like, the industry fell off. It's just kind of like when we bought MO before the Juuls and the Zyn and all that. It's just kind of the trends leveled out. People weren't using it. You're just going to survive off of free cash flow and like generating cash. You get what I'm saying? Like alcohol, you're not going to get any, like, I don't think you're going to create new alcoholics, but all of the alcoholics that exist, they bring in solid cash flow. You understand? All the bars, the restaurants, that's going to give you stability. That's all I care about. I don't know how many times I got to stability. And then speak of the devil, UPS, they're going up. Pharma, we grabbed a NVO, so we already got a little bit. We'll see, in the next couple months. I think end of 2026, pharma and biotechs. But then again, if the rate cuts start to spark shit, then certain long duration biotech could go up before that. But again, it's like we talked about this when we first bought MO. Like, because again, everyone always does this. I'll buy a stocks for a value stock, and then they'll tell me about growth. I don't care about growth. I care about cash. I care about a business that makes money so that it's going to keep lasting and then also return back to an investor. So, like, think about MO. Motherfuckers were smoking cigarettes. I didn't care if they got into weed. I didn't care what they did. They have millions and millions of people who are going to be spending billions of dollars every month. You get what I'm saying? Same thing goes with alcohol. So as long as you have that base floor, that's why I'm not worried about their dividend. And then if they have assets and then the company's been managed well, the trend might suck, but you should be able to make money and survive without growth. And then at that point, your company is just different. But I think for the last 10, 15 years, I don't think beer has been a growth play. So yeah, I think it's really all about stability. So, yeah. And then too, I looked into it. There's not really merger talks, but I don't know why, but I feel like they could be higher up on that list. There was one at the beginning of the year. You guys remember there was that rumor with Bud and Tap at the beginning of the year in terms of merger. So, and I think they got forced to sell something back in the day, but there's not really even active merger rumors on it. But like I'm telling you, in the whole space, they're the only one that's below book value, stable free cash flow, low valuation. There's a lot of things that kind of make it appealable just in the last couple days after dropping another 5-10%. I don't know. I think Seltzer and Cider's dead. That's what gave you the run up in 2020. Like I was talking about the other day, they need to come up with something new. And then speak of Pfizer, that one's going up now as well. 8:18, 12 minutes till Euro. Low calorie Ozempic protein beer? Holy shit. Give this man a job. New Ozempic beer. Get your protein. Get wasted. Brought to you by Eli Lilly. Consult with your physician to know if this is right for you. What the fuck? What do you mean? What? 30 grams of protein. 40% alcohol by volume. Gluten free. What the fuck? Intel. Data Kelba. Olestra, is that not far? That sounds so familiar. I think they have. I don't know. Where did those pizzas go? Remember they were supposed to do the Nestle was supposed to come out with all the pizzas? The like Ozempic line of food. Cutwaters are great, actually. It's a San Diego thing. I actually had one of those at a couple years ago. I went to a Padre game, and then because I don't like alcohol, and I think I was with LT. He told me to try it, and I tried it in a can, and it was actually like good. But yeah, Cutwater has been blowing up. I think they're valued at over $1 billion. They were very, very small in San Diego. I'm mad I didn't invest. I think I could have had a shot at the private equity, but Cutwater is it's big. It's blowing up. I see it nationwide. I was outside of California and I saw Cutwater. Yeah, it's like a mixed drink in a can. That's like a trend. That could be it. That could be the new one. Yeah, they're really strong. It's like malt liquor. It's literally like Four Loko, bro. It's really strong. It's in a can, but then it's mixed very well and it tastes good. Oh, it does? I think Budweiser might have bought them, or Pepsi. Somebody took a stake in them. Excellent. No. Yeah, it's literally malt liquor. That's what I'm saying. Like, people don't know the difference, but in a weird way, like, Cutwater is like, it's almost equivalent to drinking like a 40 ounce. Or like, it's actually nuts. You know, we used to do that when I was a kid. So when I first started drinking as a child, which was terrible, it's funny, I never really got into it, but me and my little high school friends, we would buy 40 ounces. And we thought we were gangsters drinking 40 ounces. Do you guys understand? So we even had a game. It was called Edward's 40 hands. And you would tape. Yeah, see, okay, you already know. Yeah, bro. It's terrible. I don't think kids do that anymore. Now they do more radical shit, but that's what we used to do. I guess we all had that experience. Holy shit. Why do you all know Edward's 40 hands? How do you fucking... Oh, Lord, thank you. You know that? I think God is good, man. All of us, the fact that we've got to experience... We should be lost. You know that, you guys? We should be very... Thank God for clarity. And thank God for what he's done in all of our lives to lead us to this moment. You know that? That's such a blessing, bro. Such a blessing. We are all idiots. We were all playing Edward's 40 hands. And the Lord still showed us mercy. Amen. Amen. It's a wild concept. Yeah, dude. Like, young, too, bro. So that's why it sucks, man. I feel like the young guys nowadays, they're like just as dumb. And they do dumb shit, but like... Think about it. I'm like, dude, thank God I made it here today, you know? Because I hope you young guys, when you do your dumb shit, don't let it hold you back, okay? And hopefully it doesn't threaten your future too much. And I hope you value it from day one. Nibis. Nibby. Can't you see? Sometimes the long term hypnotize me. I just love your long term ways. I don't even think they know Edward Scissorhands. Yeah, all right. And then Target on the high. Dizzle, MDT, I see that. Watch Edwards too, EW. Oh, Edward! They're similar. I didn't even read that. But yeah, Edwards Scissorhands and Edwards Life Sciences. That's another value device play next to MDT if that goes crazy. Don't let anything define you. Keep moving forward in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen, bro. And value your future, brothers. Value your mind. Take care of it. And remember, an hour a day, bro, look for a crib. And if you guys are making money on the bubble, if you're making money on dog shit, if you're making money on good shit, it doesn't matter. And you're up and you see paper money in your account and you're like, what should I do? I should sell. What do I do? Go find a house. I'm telling you, go find a crib. I can't stress it enough, brethren. I can't stress it enough. The headphones are good. The AirPods, they work good. I haven't got to use the live translation yet, but it was very, very nice. It's crazy. You talk and then it turns it down. So like if you start talking, the headphones hear you, and then it lowers the audio, and then it turns off the noise cancellation so you could hear, and then it comes right back in after you stop talking. Super dope. UNH, again, Pfizer, a couple of medical plays, and then I just had DG up. That keeps printing 102 to 103.90. If you're, that's what happens. I would sing, and then it would cut off. But then that's good, because now I know if I'm being too loud in the gym, bro. Because you know I hella be, like, singing in the gym, right? Because, like, sometimes, but then I'll just say, like, a random word, and then people look at me because I'm just, like, grunting random lyrics. So now I'll know if I'm saying something loud enough to be heard. So kind of cool, kind of secondary benefit. I think it registers if people talk to you, but I haven't really talked to people. I just talk like right when I open my mouth, it fades the audio, but I haven't had them on and somebody came up to me yet. I think it's only when you talk. Eddie Taz, tap just getting clapped. Again, the lack of incentives, I probably could have waited, but just remember, it's small. So, like, it looks like we had a very bad buy right there today, but, I mean, we're down 0.5% or 1%. So, just, this isn't too big of a mover. Again, a word to stability, but I think it bottoms out at 43. If it doesn't go to 43, you're going to be at 40. Then we'll be down 10%. And then another 3%, 13% fill the gap. And then all in dip buy if it goes down 20% at the new low. But then again, too, this is what? You're at the same price from 07 to 2013. So look at 20-year chart. You had one pop. So don't buy this name if you're... I don't know if, again, like I said, the word of the day is stability. Oh, CRISPR. It was a dumb idea because I wasn't being patient, if you couldn't tell. Because if I wait 2 weeks, I could buy it with no margin. So, but I am being impatient. I got ever since I saw it hit the 52-week low, that was a new name we didn't get to talk about, and then it did it. Because like I'm saying, at other points, it really wasn't there. And then right when it literally flushed, broke by 10%, yeah, I got really, really excited by it. But I could have waited. That's I think the thing we didn't do properly. And then again, like I'm saying, cash, like I'm wasting all my money. I wouldn't say I'm wasting it, but I have no cash. I'm negative cash now. So you got to think about it. Like I will have no cash for a diamond, but like I was saying when I bought it, at this point, we're not seeing the diamond. The diamond's gonna have to develop, or it'll be a black swan. And if it really is, that bad, and like, let's say, I don't know, who would it be? If NVO is either gonna drop another 50%, I think that's the diamond at 4, or if we could get like a high, like an Amazon, 50% off or something, that's still gonna take some time. So the downside is rushing, the downside is not waiting, and then the downside is also not not like using capital and not having any cash built. I'm still, if you think about it, we were really good balance up until Intel. I had like 7-8% cash or something, but that was like, we had a better balance with cash. So now fast forward after Intel, Chipotle, CMG, and now this, I just have, like, think about it. We're running through. We are fully invested now. So I don't want to expose the lead like we've talked about. I don't think these positions will expose our lead, but at the same time, it is, it's, there's no cash. We don't have that balance. So I will be vulnerable to the diamond if it shows up. That's what I'm trading. I hope you see it. So I'm giving up, I'm taking the money, I'm putting all this in, doing all that. The only downside is that I could lose on what I bought, but they're small. But now it's like, if the diamond shows up, my hands are going to be a little bit more tied. So other than that, yeah, I do think stick with the plan. I don't think be aggressive when you're in the lead. No, I think you need to be smart when you're in the lead, like we played this whole year. And even then, go look at what I'm buying still. The last 2 deposits were small. This one was a front run on the margin, but even then, bro, I'm buying names at multi-decade lows. I'm buying names that are negative on the year. This one is going to pay us 4% anyways. So, like, yeah, where are we down? Yeah, it's down 15% in 12 months, down about 21 in 6. So, although I'm being aggressive by putting my money to work, I wouldn't say I'm being aggressive in the sense of just buying everything and then, I'm not trying to force water out of a rock. I'm not trying to buy these plays. It has to make me this. I'm in the lead. Let's be aggressive. I want to preserve it. I want to be smart and be wise, but I got to take value. And if I get good value and I could see ahead there, I'm not going to get too caught up on the cash balance, when even then we fall back to our same scenario. Just remember, I have no cash. We are in the building process, but if I want to save up cash, it's going to take a year of doing nothing. Do you guys understand that? So I want to do a year of doing nothing when it starts to get better. And think about it. We spent half of this year doing nothing. I only made a couple moves, and I'm grateful. We did very well. I don't think you realize it's not too often we could ignore everything, save up several deposits, and then put it into something that goes up 30% with a good upside now tied to the whole AI. So that helped us out a lot. And that's why, too, if we want to sit and do nothing, we're going to have to wait. And I'd rather be waiting when there's less historical deals on the table. Like I'm saying, I could go back in time right now on a lot of these. So my only risk is I'm fully invested, but I'm not being aggressive by fully investing in things with premium or more exposure. But if a diamond comes my way, I will be exposed. I won't be able to move. And here we are. You could use it. Well, that's the thing too, though. But even then, like, I want you to wait for the diamond, but don't be only waiting for the diamond. You get what I'm saying? That's going to be the balance. So as long as you're below 20% cash, you're still fine. You don't need to be confused by what I'm doing, and you don't need to let it confuse you. But like I'm saying, if things come across your way, you see 4%ers, you see good stuff that you could lock in or start with a smaller portion. So hypothetically, if you have 10% cash, you could put out 1 to 2% while still building cash. You're still going to have room for the diamond. But then vice versa, just don't go above 20%. That's it. Is it smart to take a loan against your portfolio to invest in the market? I mean, what does that mean, brother? So you want to take your portfolio, borrow against it to add to it. So you want to go on margin. So again, I just went on margin because I have the money coming in a week and I just wanted to secure it. So that's margin. But I personally, if you don't have the ability to hold it and don't understand it, I probably wouldn't. And TT, SPY going lower. Cash balance up 20. Oh, okay, we'll get it working now. See, so that one, I would start buying some of these things. You know, lately I've been buying names as if I had 20% cash because I've been seeing, again, TAP, Chipotle, CMG, all of those just hit new prices this late in the year, and that's why I'm like, wow, those are the names I like. If the diamond is good enough, would you sell another position? No, I would just go on margin if it was good enough. So that's why I said my hands would be tied, but I still think I have an answer. So like I'm saying, let's repeat history. Let's say Meta somehow goes back to $90, or let's say NVIDIA, right? Because the Meta already had its run up and then fat drop and then run up and then big drop back to 90. So NVIDIA, let's say NVIDIA came back down to, let's say it came back down to like $20 or something, right? $30 on NVIDIA. And I have no cash. I've already invested and then everything is getting clobbered depending on where everything else is at. Think about it. I would just be using margin to buy it if the portfolio would have supported. You know, because again, if my other values stay up, and then I think the margin should still operate. Yeah, I'm not against leverage, but you guys got to be very cautious right now because, like we're talking recession or bubble, stagflation, inflation, deflation. Again, think about the video I was showing you yesterday. We're like right in the middle of the 70s still. A lot of that shit has played out. You got to be careful of leverage because what happens during bubbles and mania, if you lever up early in the risk days, that's fine, but then you could get fucked up. Why? Because now you lever too high with everything going on, it's going to be able to backfire. Or think about all the front run. Everything is pricing in so much for the future. Just like the people, you may buy something to protect against inflation and then you buy it on leverage. You pick the right thing, but you picked the wrong time. If you own more than you have, the leverage is going to hurt you. Believe me, I wanted to buy way more TAP and all of that, but that's why I only front ran one deposit. Because if I put more than I have and it drops a lot, I could end up losing things that I already own. So you don't want to, that's where you got to be careful. But I'm not against the debt and loans. You know, I understand what like guys like Dave Ramsey say now, and just the sad reality is that most people will fuck up with debt and leverage. It's not as easy as it sounds. But I'm not against it. I just think though you do have to be very strategic, and then in these moments where like diversification, deflation, stagflation, you're going to need good diversification and not being over levered. That's how you're going to stay alive for 5 to 10 years and not get chopped up by the craziness, the bubbles, the calamities, all of that stuff. I mean, because it has been challenging over the last half decade, and not being over levered kept us in the game. I would argue some of the people that bottom ticked and sold their long term after 2021, 2022, I would argue they levered too hard and they felt the pain and the drop way, way more. So, like I'm saying, we got to find the balance. We got to find the middle. I mean, you've watched me use margin. I'm telling you now, there is a time where debt and margin could be useful, but I would not use that as your primary tool. And then especially as we're trying to find a plan for diversification in the next 5-10 years, you gotta debt and leverage are gonna fight against you, or you have to plan accordingly to meet that time frame and with the right sizing. P6 UNH, brah. Yeah, it's been going all day. Little by little. All right, and then I need to go to the potty. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. Real Cult News on Twitter. NDY. All right, I'll BRB.
You stay there for
100%.
That makes sense. What's interesting more broadly about the China-US context is we do keep feeling as though there is this ultimate race. Is there, can you remind the audience what's at stake if America, quote unquote, doesn't win it?
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting. We're talking right now on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, and it's been 80 years. And if you look at the past 80 years and the backbone of the free world, it's been institutions that the United States has built and led, right? Whether it's the United States itself or the UN or the G7 or the OECD, all of these important institutions have helped in the 20th century. They're not as relevant heading into the 21st century. The new backbone of the free world is going to be technology. And it's going to be all the businesses we build off the back of the technology, all the values that that technology propagates. And so we have to re-earn our leadership in the 21st century by inventing a new framework for freedom and prosperity. And the backbone of that is going to be technology. And so the really good news is America's good at this stuff. This is our superpower, innovation and enterprise. And so if we lean into that, we can lead the 21st century.
Are we good at governance of it?
Yes, I think look at what we did in the 20th century, but it's not going to be the status quo. We're going to have to think and operate in really different ways. That's what tech diplomacy is all about, right? It's about bringing tech companies and the private sector together with government officials to have a conversation around how do you unleash innovation and also make sure that it accelerates our values of freedom and prosperity and human rights and data privacy and things like that. That conversation needs to happen where it traditionally doesn't.
And one you're probably having here, right here in New York. Michelle Guida making time for us. We so appreciate it. Purdue's Kruk Institute for Tech Diplomacy. Now, we're going to have an update now in the world of entertainment. Jimmy Kimmel Live. It's set to return to the airwaves tonight, ending a suspension imposed by Disney following remarks made by the host about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Meanwhile, Nexstar, alongside Sinclair Broadcast Group, announced it will continue to preempt the airing of the late-night program across its stations. According to sources, Kimmel is set to address the controversy during his show. Coming up, drone software provider Alterian. It locks in fresh funding to scale drone combat capabilities. Alterian CEO is going to be joining us, Lorenz Meyer. That's next. This is Bloomberg Tech.
Well, I tried to switch it. I wanted to get you a different propaganda. Microsoft announces in-chip microfluidic cooling system. I don't know what that means, sir. And then SPY's kind of dumping right now. But hold on. Give me 2 seconds. It is 11 minutes after Euro. So watch out for that. Hello. Yeah, Trump tweeted saying it was a great honor to speak at the UN. But yeah, man, how y'all living? Are you guys good? It is post-Euro, so by 15 minutes, you're actually about to get the settlement in like 30 seconds. You got Mexico on the high, a couple of different movers. I don't know if it's shocking you. You also got... What the fuck? You also got another long-term ad in September. And before you know it, it's going to be the end of the year. I'm doing great, bro. I woke up like a crackhead today. I don't know why. I had some good prayer and meditation last night. But other than that, I'm joyful, brother. And I'm expecting something. I don't know what. But I'm just expecting greatness, my brother. That's it. I'm just expecting greatness. Do you understand? I hope you are too. That song is on SoundCloud. It's called Swimwear by Uncle Answers. It's a good song. I like it a lot. It has become one of my favorites too. It's the mix of the beat and then Jesus. So yeah, that's a good one. You're expecting a house. I mean, are you... It sucks because I think you could get a way better loan for like a one, like you'd be able to get a really nice house if you lived in it. But I'm thinking you might have to go out of state. We could get you a small one anywhere, bro. I could get you one by the farm. There might be a cheap one by the farm, Tim, you know, and I'll manage it for you. I'll give you the same manager I have and then call it a day. I actually don't have the farm managed yet. It's going to be a Chad. But yeah. Oh, shit. No way. Dude, he wasn't lying. So look. Yeah, so literally, look, the escalator literally did stop the moment he stepped on it. Bro. Dude, so like Trump was talking all that shit. He was like the teleprompter, the escalator. Dude, that literally happened. That was not a Trump hyperbole. He wasn't being hyperbolic. Trust me, I know. It's not hyperbole. I mean it. They fucked the elevator, the escalator. The fucking Entrada stopped working. Where's the fucking Entrada? I tell you, serious. Let's come on. Such a trashy building, Donald. Donald, buy the building and fix the escalator, Donald. Puh. Disgusting, Donald. The fuck? You like the opportunity to achieve what God wants with the farm? Yeah, man, in due time. I mean, I might sell it next year. Like I said, I got a very sizable offer. And the point with the farm at bare minimum was to make sure you guys got an example and got some motivation to go turn your fucking stocks to real life shit. So, and other than that though, I do think, and like I've told you, and I've told you in a negative way, and I've told others in a positive way, dealing with it, in terms of helping. So the good way, I've told even the Chads who've wanted to commit with the farm. I had one Chad who really could actually help out a lot, and he would do the best. But I even told him I don't want him to limit himself. I do not want him to. And I said he should go buy his own house right by it if he's really down to do it there. Because I said, there's some, I don't want you to get held back on it. And same thing for you, Energy. Unfortunately, the way you've communicated in your actions, I've told you that you have kind of burned your opportunity. And I don't know why you're not connecting and letting that land. But unfortunately, that's still true. You're not going to change my mind on it. You already blew it for a little bit. We'll talk about it next year if we still have it. But like I'm telling you, even though that's a little more negative, apply it to the positive sense. The positive sense is either way, I don't want any of you to get held back. And I don't want any of you to get caught up and limited on a project like that. It's real estate. It's easy. We're going to make money. I bought it at a perfect time. We also still aggressively with the long term. So your opportunity there is not going to be the same. So focus on your long term and maybe focus on buying another house, Energy. Because like I said, it's just the way it played out, I don't think it's going to work with you and I, at least for a longer time. So maybe to prove and show that you could actually handle it, how about we get you another house? And then we could talk about you helping on the farm. But like I said, you already kind of burned it in the beginning. I know it is unfortunate. But now you could learn how to communicate. This is a good learning experience. I still love you. I'm saying, I'm trying to communicate it to you in the same way, because in my heart, it is the same. I don't want any of you to get limited on it. Whether you broke the rules or not, it doesn't matter. But like I'm saying, and if you really want to be committed then and really be about this, the way you're going to help is by helping yourself. I've been trying to tell everybody. And that's why I'm saying you should go get another crib. Let's go get you another house, because you're not going to help out on the farm. So, and if you could get another one, then maybe we could talk about helping out on the farm. But in the meantime, I want you to grow further and more, because you already got a crib, bro. That's why I give you a lot of grace with it, and I know that you are trying to do good because I've seen you do it before. So let's run it. But yeah, maybe you sound for let's start looking for the next one for you. And if we could pull that off, then we talk about the farm. Because like I'm saying, I have someone coming on Friday. The one person who I said I don't want him to limit, they're still coming on Friday. I got another person coming in already, so we're going to try out a couple of the Chads who have already done it. That'll take us into the end of the year. If that works, we're good. And then if not, I have a $500,000 offer, net profit at the bottom, or at the end of the year, ready to go if that does not work. So I'm excited either way. We got our plan, and like I'm showing y'all, you know, I really wanted you to get a house. And think about the timing, bro. So it's a good time, I hope. And we're going to find out, because if the next 3 months crashes, maybe you'll get a better deal on real estate, and we'll see. Otherwise, you know, we'll go from there. Portland. What's up, baby? Horna. Bro, how do you do it, man? So, like, Portland, do you love Jesus, Portland? Or how do you not, like, stab me? Because, like, you live in Portland. I've seen your videos, bro. So I'm glad you like the stream, dog. It's to see you so much. That's why I'm like, no way, bro. No way. You're out. Dude, Portland's wild. That's why I'm saying this, dude. I saw shit. I seen his videos. And then I've seen, bro, just the craziest fucking clips I've seen in the last couple days. Some of them have been in Portland and, like, Seattle. Like, you and Tim Whitman. How do y'all... and I've never been to Portland in my life. So we'll have to see, man. But God bless, bro. And let's go. Let's do more, too. And I hope all of you get more cribs and more stocks. And just at the end of the day, man, love yourself in the future. And you'll be good, baby. It's getting better slowly. I mean, you guys got the Trailblazers. I've always been a fan of the Trailblazers. But then again, I think they told me, isn't Portland, though, just like low-key a bunch of Republicans outside, though? Because I swear, one of the first, like, ever gun-toting military dudes I've ever encountered outside of Cali, like around college, he was from Oregon. Like outside of, bro, I even wanted to go to Oregon. I got accepted into Oregon. You know that? It was either Arizona or Oregon when I got accepted into college. So, and I chose the desert. But yeah, man. Yeah, Portland. Yeah, but they tell me it's all Republicans outside. It's all just rednecks, apparently. Southern Portland has 2 Walmarts. You avoid it like the plague. The Supersonics. Oh, don't even get me started about Gary Payton. I love Gary Payton. Amen. But man, let's go. It's a good real estate market, though. That's the crazy part. Lillard. Have you ever heard his raps? You know Damian Lillard's a rapper? Yeah, but that's the video I saw. It's all like, I feel like Antifa lives in Portland. Or they live in Oregon or wherever. And then I don't know, they like travel to San Francisco. I don't even know, man. But Ray Allen. I shoot like Ray Allen, bro. That quick release. I get the ball today. It's Tuesday, bro. It's Tuesday. Yeah, man, it sucks. You're going down. You're only 10 points, 11 points from the high, but I'm 66-83, bro. Sean Cap. I mean, it's a damn shame, bro. Portland, Seattle. It has a good history, bro. That's why I've always wanted to go. Like, I don't think I had a negative, like, view of that area up until, like, recently until people have made it, like, liberal shit. But other than that, bro, the history and even sports goes fucking hard out there. And then TTD, even Teledoc's kind of getting a candle here at the high. I don't know if it's breaking out or if there's about to be a headline. RKLB, that's been going up all day. You guys caught the TTD one early. I don't know the news. Only 2.5, but it's there. I mean, good luck. Good luck on the interview. You used to live in Seattle? No way. So, yeah, I think a lot of you guys were around there. Well, amen, bro. So, I can't believe it. Oh, I played Skate. I've seen the videos, but I haven't played the new one. I played it back in the day. And you know I used to play Tony Hawk too, right? Like, I fuck with Tony Hawk Pro Skater. That's it. Do you guys have a Tony Hawk nowadays? Because, like, when I was growing up, Tony Hawk was like, he was a legend. I don't know. Like, dude, Tony Hawk even influenced Lil Wayne. For crying out loud. So, I don't know, man. I don't know if you, like, do you guys have that? We have that Chad. We have one of the Chads who's, remember Danny? Or David? No, Danny. He won the X Games. But do you guys have, like, who's the Tony Hawk of this day? And then TTD's still going. I got that up on the screen. The SPY's near the low. It's mostly tech. The Russell did give up a third, though, of that move. I don't think I've given you guys a checkup today. Yeah, Nija. That's the guy, actually. But that was even like 10 years ago. You're getting old, bro. Yeah, same, Jack. 13 green on the Dow, 17 in the red. NASDAQ 100, 49 green, 51 in the red. 50-50. And then SPY 305 green, 190-ish in the red. Rodney Mullen? That sounds very familiar. But yeah, no, but so I've seen Skate, but I haven't played it. Only, unfortunately, 2K, and regrettably. It's actually not, it hasn't been that bad, but I'm just still mad. I'm just an angry person, I guess. But other than that, I look forward to Battlefield. We will play that with the Colt for sure. And all these space stocks are going it's all day. They're 12%, and then you have RKLB. I don't know if the uranium it didn't end up going, but look, it's moving literally right now. Yeah, they all kind of had a little extra breakout, and then they pulled back. And I hope you guys see how this is trading. That's what I'm saying. It's not volatile, and this is what we mean, like, bubble. You get what that's why, like, this is why certain out of the money, they're gonna value differently depending on how it moves. But I hope you see and don't get so caught up in it day to day, but, like, look, it's just melting up. So at this point, man, we have to really start differentiating. I think if you are in a bubble, even on the downside in the recession, you could trade whatever you want. But I would never buy any of this shit for the long term, you guys. I think you know already. And some of you might get mad at me if they 10x and then even go down 90%, but still, I don't think these are long term. Can you trade them and do shorter term plays and not commit to them? Yeah, why not? But you just got to find that, I would play the panic like we've talked about all year. When people get panicky, when people get jumpy, even panic to the upside, you trade whatever the fuck you want. You can play the headlines, go as you please. But like I said in that video, man, I hope it doesn't get in the way of your long term. And you should balance your budget and just remember, it's an emotional game. You're either going to play it really big and hit really big on the right move, and that'll be great. But what are you going to do next? Are you going to play it small? You could hit amazing, and it's still not going to be enough. The problem with these, it's over and over and over and over and over again. That's the part nobody really talks about. So if you want to trade, just be prepared for it. And like I'm saying, I've been trading and I've been taking advantage of some of this stuff, but I do think there has to be a really big difference for the long term. So it's like I'm saying, I'm not buying space and certain things, and I don't know, man. You tell me. Like, for real, like, you guys tell me, you think about it. But this doesn't feel exactly like 2021 with EV and ESG and solar. You don't think it doesn't feel exactly the same to you? And I encourage you to think about it and tell me if you disagree and explain why. Some all I'm saying is, in that moment, I'm not really the only conclusion I'm making is that some will remain. Some things will end up holding up. There was a couple that, they were the start of a new trend and they somewhat held up. There was money to be made, but then a lot of them, you also got to see, the intense speculation, the intense move up, how it lasted, how it played out, and then also just how it played out in just not too long of a long term, just a couple more years. So, yeah. That's it. This doesn't feel as overheated. Yeah, slower melt up. I agree in that sense, but also too, remember Biden. No, you're right. Because Biden, it took off in January. It took off right when Biden was in because he kind of had everybody behind him. But yeah, this case, we kind of delayed 9 months, 7 months, I'd say. And then now it's starting. Because like I was saying, bro, on the watch list yesterday, dude, in 2 months, all of that 2026 shit is hitting. All of you are going to have lower taxes in 2 months. You get what I'm saying? All of the little pseudo stimulus from that bill that I disagree with, it's a lot of fucking money. That's all going to start flooding. At least 25% of it, 30% of it, maybe more, because I think they're going to front load it. So, yeah, that's why I do agree. I do think that's a big difference. It is slower. Biden in 2021, EV and ESG and fucking solar, that was taken off by February. And then it still lasted for, I think, up until Jackson Hole. That was really the end of it. So you had from January inauguration to Jackson Hole. That was your little bubble. So now we're starting from, like, you could either count I'd start it from the Fed, literally the rate cut now, think about it. So, or you could go back to like July. So yeah, and whatever is going to move from there. And that's why I'm saying you could trade things, but I don't think they're all long-term. So what else? How else is this similar and different in 2021? Doesn't feel overheated. There's too much speculation. Just a new set of names, same reaction. The bill does go, all of the big beautiful bill, it already signed, but a lot of the money and programs start to get spent. Yeah, Intel's on the high. I think that starts too next month. It will affect, yeah, all these little things. They're just going to be pseudo stimulus. It's going to be different than what, again, it's not going to go to the same areas as Biden. It's not going to be a direct stimulus, but various areas are going to ease up conditions just through that big beautiful bill. Again, I disagreed with that bill. I still do. But like I was telling you at the time, that could be the golden era in the sense of if the economy doesn't, but then again, that's also where, this is where we might see inflation. Do you guys see it now? It's been 9 months. Everybody lied to you. The trade war, all of that. But think about it. If they cut rates now, next 2 months, they cut it 2 more times, all of that fucking BBB money hits. And then then it really starts overheating. That's where you might start to get a glimpse of inflation. Otherwise, if the economy slows, no, this is where I think it could be good. Because if the economy slows into next year still, prices are still too high, it's already overheated, everybody front run it, and then it starts slowing down, and then it gets met with the big beautiful bill, the tax, all that, that just may balance it out. So, or then again, if it's not strong enough and then they cut more, we're fucked, and then there's a recession. Meta adds message translation on WhatsApp. I don't even think they care about wages. I think they care overall jobs market. And then, I mean, there's just a lot of money floating around. But, yeah, I think it'll be very interesting. But like I'm saying, these next 2 months, though, there it is. That's that bill money and all of it. Yeah, bill back. A beautiful bill. Which one is it? I don't know. We're the same. No, we're not. Yes, we are. Whoa. So yeah, but it's a lot of money. I've been telling you that for all year. So, but think about it, 2026, 2 months, that's, the clock begins on that sense. And then you'll be 2 months post rate cut. You might even get another rate cut ahead of that. That's the thing. Think about it. They're talking 2 more rate cuts, 3 more by the end of the year. That means you get, even before that money hits, you might still have more added fuel. I don't know why Snapchat's going up. 3% SPY at the bottom. Kratos news? No. Is that the drones and all that? But yeah, and then someone asked, again, all this space, ASTS, Joby, or RKLB are going up. But yeah, like I'm saying, if it keeps getting rate cuts, we get bubbly, I mean, you're gonna watch dumb shit go up, and you have to either decide if you're gonna play it or not. Other than that, bro, I would, you do whatever you want, but just don't fucking add dumb shit that doesn't make money to your long term. I don't know any other way to put it. Just very simply, man, trade whatever the fuck you want, and I hope you have discipline and a budget, but don't you fucking dare put this dumb shit in the long term. And if you bought the dumb shit already at 1/10 of the price it is now, just fucking hold it and make your life easy, or buy a house. And that's it. So I think you're going to have, if we get panic to the up, panic to the down, there's opportunities to trade. Trade whatever the fuck you want. Or, again, decide not to and be okay with it, and don't get FOMO and emotional and chase it later and make even worse decisions. But just don't add it to your long term. That's it. The long term, you should really be thinking 10 years. Should still have that budget. Don't let short term get in the way of your long term. And take advantage of good value, and make sure, crazy and trade by trade, you're still adding a piece and holding throughout your career to keep building. And JCI, that thing's dumping now. I already took a decent dump. I saw that, and I just took another one. Well, I think the problem is just emotions. I don't know if you guys really get it. That's what we're really talking about. Is that it's emotional. The bubble is emotional. That's not the problem. The problem, you know how to play it. You know it's dog. You guys know everything. That's what I'm saying. But think about it. People get mad. People react. You are never satisfied, or you go big and then you go at all these. It's just emotions. That's the problem with it. That's what you have to focus on. Hammer down your emotions. Handle that, you have nothing to worry about, because it's a very simple, repetitive thing that we've done before in many instances, especially if you've been in the market longer than 2020. This is volatility, or again, bubble, melt up. We've watched this various times, but that all that matters is emotions. That's what's going to get you, depending on how much you're giving into it or not, or controlling it. That's what's either going to set you. That's what's going to get you to make bad decisions or good decisions. You get what I'm saying? That's what matters right now. I want you thinking about right now in some of these decisions, and obviously take advantage and be present. But also too, just your 10-year and your long term, don't make foolish decisions again. And how you get emotionally. A lot of times what happens during the bubble that's emotional, what are you going to do? You're going to say, no, that's dumb. That's dog shit. Haha, why would I buy that? Then it keeps going up. And then you're going to get regret. And then you're going to get emotional. And then what are you going to do? You're either going to double down on that strategy, and it's going to do it again, and you're going to get even more pissed, or you're going to FOMO in. And then you're either going to FOMO in and make a little bit more, or you're going to make a little bit more and lose it all. And then you're going to just or it'll go up, and then you're going to take the money, and guess what? It's going to keep going up again. And then you're going to be like, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. And then you're going to try it again. And it's just an emotional game. That's why I said to all of you thinking about whatever play it is, I just want you to think about the over and over again. That's what really matters. I have given you every single bubble play, and you've been exposed to it here dramatically cheaper. You've had your opportunity. That's not the problem. That wasn't the issue. It wasn't a lack of it that prevented you. The question, it's the over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's the real question. And the emotions involved in it. That's what you should be looking at. It's not about fucking any of these plays. It's in the video. It's just, you're going to play it over and over and over and over and over again. Not just once. That's the kicker. Figure out that and think about that. Now you're in the game. Control emotions, leave them at the door, you're in the game. Otherwise, make this decision now. Think about what I just told you. The emotions, the FOMO, get it later. How are you if you run through it, run a simulation now in your mind and think about it. Maybe turn off the computer and think about this and make your decision and how you're going to handle. But it'll be either a couple months, a year and a half, 2 years, and then it'll also change. But I do think you should still use this as an opportunity for your long term by being wise and insulating it and don't let dog shit in that long term, brother. Like I'm saying, if I go back and I pull up anybody's long term in my email, and some of them, you'll notice a difference between the ones who during the last time their long term looked nothing like it, and then some I'm like, why did you buy ChargePoint? Or again, all random ass names. You would be shocked. And again, some of them are up. Like, right? If you got lucky and bought a Palantir, fuck yeah. But if you bought the other one, you lost 90%. You see what I'm saying? That's why I told you, if you fucked around and bought one of these bubble shits in the long term already, just follow the fucking rules. Don't let that lead into more rule breaking, because then again, it'll serve you if you are already protected in that sense. And if you want to sell, go buy a house. Then if it's not enough, then you're going to hold till it becomes one. So there you go. But yeah, it's just a lot of emotions you got to think about. So I think you're going to get opportunities to trade a lot, man. And there'll be a lot of things, but I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about the opportunities or lack thereof. I am worried about the emotions. And I think you got to think about that. A lot of it's predictable. You've already lived through it. So yeah, you just got to think about it and use it. Woo! Yeah, be patient. Well, be careful, but here's the thing. If you're the type to be careful and then regret being careful and crash out, just don't be careful then. Are you guys understanding me? I'm wide in the spectrum, brothers. That's what's going to hurt you. If you guys say I'm careful and you're lying about it, that's going to fuck you up in the bubble. Do you understand? Because what's going to happen during the bubble? You're going to be like, yeah, I'm careful. And then it's going to rip. And then you're going to crash out. And if you do that, you're fucked. That's the problem. I'm not worried about anything else. Know yourself, brother. Amen. Amen. The issue's not about being careful. It's emotions and making a decision and think, and that's what I'm saying. Run yourself through this. If Oklo goes to $1,000, how are you going to feel about careful? But I don't care about your feeling. What are you going to do? I think you're going to act and do something. That's what you got to think about. So, and if you're okay with just tell me what you could live with. And then don't let it get in the way of your goal, your long term. And ideally, avoid the crash out. That'd be nice. TTD. It's super early. I mean, we might go. Oh, yeah, I forgot. We have Powell. Hold on. We got Powell in like 20, 30 minutes. What am I saying? So, yeah, bro. Wait a minute. I totally forgot. So, yeah, it's actually going to be live, too. You know that? Oh, shit. I should give you guys Philo then. Oh, you should have told me. I should have known. Because, yeah, he's going to go on, and then, I don't know, but it might take at least an hour, I think. Because he's going to be doing a Q&A. He's going to have a pre-written one. So even be on the lookout for that, because at the scheduled time, you're going to get a pre-written statement. So then, after the pre-written statement, the market will react, and then he'll go live. And then you're going to do the, what's it called? Then he's going to do a Q&A. So that's why I'm like, you might get something. He's probably going to have the same stance, same level of hawkishness. If he does want to tilt more dovish or hawkish, he could use this opportunity. He probably won't, but his speech is probably going to mirror what he just told you on Thursday or Wednesday. Because remember, it wasn't too long ago. Greater Providence Chamber. Is this the same one? I'm on their website, but yeah. I don't expect him to crash the market, no. I expect him to broadly just be exactly like he was on Wednesday. So I'm not really expecting too much. Well, great. So, I mean, technically, he's going to come on in what, like 20 minutes? 28 minutes or so? So, other than that, market sold off leading into it. It's pretty much Russell. Dow's actually going negative right now. But you had anything that was, anything underperforming yesterday that came up was financials. But everybody else, anything that was down yesterday is down today, mixed in with whatever random middle of the ground tech. But it is about 50-50. Yeah, Dow has 11 green still. NASDAQ has more red now, 56 red, 44 in the green. That was, you had a little bit more green earlier. Same with the SPY, 287 in the green. I think it's just going to depend on his questions, but you guys, I mean, all I care about, there's only one thing, because like there's a lot of important stuff, recession, we're talking 2-3 months out. I mean, look at the debt, look at everything. There's a lot of important things. You just got the rate cut, but I really want to know if he's worried about Fed independence. You know what I'm saying? So I look forward to 4 or 5 questions on that. So, because like, you know, like with everything, no. I know credibility is important, but like Fed independence, I think that specifically should be asked as much as possible, because it's very, very, very prevalent. And I think it'll impact all of us so much more than anything else that he could talk about. So other than that, well, I'm sure it's going to depend on the questions that they ask him. So that'll produce, you know, I think the statement should read, unless, like I'm saying, unless he wants to tilt hawkish or lower, or hawkish or dovish, like he could use this opportunity. He might do it in the statement, but that'll probably be depending on the questions that they ask him. And I'm sure, I think the real question you should be paying attention to, which people have been asking, they even asked Mr. Moran yesterday, the question you should be looking at is why they're cutting 3 more times. And what does 3 more cuts mean? That's a very good question. That's why I'm telling you, I'm showing you these charts, and people are bringing this part up because it's important. If the Fed is cutting already and then saying we're going to cut 3 more times, that's like aggressive. Do you think there's going to be a recession or not? And then he's going to go on and give you the same bullshit answer, mix it in both sides, blame labor, not blame labor, blame immigration, not blame immigration, and then there you go. But if he does hint and give you a real answer to that, then yallah habibi, that's very good to know. But then again, even Moran said he couldn't tell you yesterday. Oh yeah, so bouncing a little, but Jerome is on his way. Again, about 15-20 minutes, you will get him, and then we'll see where it leads us. We will see where it leads us. And then speak of the bubble, Aqua. So remember, we went through the premium yesterday, and I was showing you how if it pulls back enough, now they're just burning the weeklies though. So these have to be, yeah, these are still lower. Same exact thing as yesterday. For now, until one. That's what I'm saying. It's a fucking musical chairs, you guys. It's hot potato. But yeah, it's that same little setup there. So we'll see. And then bonds too. If you guys notice, I think it's the best day so far for the bonds since Powell. Well, believe it or not, that right there. You're actually green. And then see too if the bonds actually move with the market. If like the market bounces and TLT goes up, that'll be nice. Oh, a Nike is on the low, habibi. Why? And then a Snapchat. Planter, Nifda. IMD's still up. And then, yeah, all the space stocks, again, they're up like 12, 15%. Actually, RK, which one was ASTS? Yeah, they're up 14. Rocket Lab's only up 5. NTR, like chemicals. I don't know much about it. Sadly, I know more about beer than I do fertilizer. And I own a fucking farm. That's fucking terrible. I need to step my game up. But yeah, I don't know. Like, again, we knew about it after like 2021 and the war and all that, but I'm just not familiar with the company or industry as much. So I couldn't say. Or I usually lean towards no. And then NNE kind of popping. Again, just pop, gap down, rip up, come down, rip up. That melt up, that's what makes the premiums harder. Sadly, if it really bubbles and goes crazy, the out of money's hit. But on these type of moves, you want to be near the money or in the money. AI in the pharma discovery. I think we have to get AGI. I don't disagree with you, but maybe the sleeping on it kind of highlights how far we are from AGI. But when we get close to AGI, I think the medical developments are right around the corner. Automakers ask Trump to ease EPA emissions. Check GM and Tesla, citing slower EV sales. I put GME. Does that sounds bad for Tessie? And then MP on the high. Well, yeah, AGI, I think that's why. So if AGI is, if we're not as close to that, the medical isn't as close either. Yeah, well, you got a little bounce there right ahead. We've been selling off coming into Powell. It's your first like little chill day, but look at the scoreboard. It's tiny. Russell's still up over 0.5%. I mean, NASDAQ could get pretty ugly if Powell isn't well received, but I don't think it's too bad. Diesel. Dude, somebody rolled coal on me the other day. This guy was in front of me. I don't think he liked me. And then he just rolled coal and covered me in diesel fuel. I was like, freedom. I thought it was cool. I don't think he realized. I was like, that's dope. Yeah, QS has nothing to do with quantum. Okay, GM's moving again. You just had the automaker Trump headline. Kind of a delayed reaction, but they are moving. And then Guild starting to break out. Who was it earlier? You had Medtronic. They didn't go. Yeah, Guild is getting a couple more candles. Only 0.9 though. Yeah, I think that's like a 10-year minimum in Cali for rolling coal or something. I think they put you in a work camp or something. They're really serious about the environment in California. Gold and silver usually go up when rates go down because that usually brings down the dollar. That's why, too, eventually when the dollar starts going up, you'll probably see this stop. Guild is it's only 1%, but it's going. And now casinos, I don't know. It'd be nice. It's still mad early, bro. If we could get a move, it'd be nice. Celsius on the high as well. There's a couple names. Low ticker still has some too, but you do got a couple brewing. Ionic. Beep, beep, beep. Guild again. And then someone brought up VTR earlier. Weren't they down? Yeah, now they're kind of going up. Guild about 1.2. Oh, I still need to look at the calendar. What do we got here? And then you still have Micron after the bell too. Don't forget about that. Whoop. What is that, NVIDIA? Wait, NVIDIA has an international conference on medical imaging and computer-assisted intervention conference? Who's gonna be at that? I have that on my calendar, but undisclosed time. Is that why you brought that up? There's a Bernstein Healthcare Forum. Bernstein. Interesting. Guild Cook. What time? Oh, it already started. Damn, it's kind of already late. Good morning. You work in healthcare and not seen a molecule of AI? Wow, no molecules even. Trump looking forward to working with Argentina and Malay. You use it for AI or all the time. It's used for research. Now you guys are all just confusing me. I like the molecules. That's fun to say. Alrighty. Well, this sucks. We got 5 minutes. And I hope he's gonna be actually live, but he might you might actually get the pre-written statement right on the dot, like I was saying. So we'll see. No, Powell's not going in front of the UN. That'd be nuts. And then Spy is getting a little bit of volume, so be on the lookout. You even have a Trump Truth Social. Yeah. Oh, the Wire's still up. I'll leave that up for you all day. Because you'll watch the Wire, because the statement will just come out and that'll start flashing red. Wow, not bad. So, to join today's event, a corporate table of 10 is $1,200. An individual reservation is $110. Nice. And then they want to acknowledge their upcoming program coincides with Rosh Hashanah, a sacred and meaningful holiday for many in our community. They deeply value their Jewish colleagues and members and regret they can't join in person, so to ensure inclusivity, they will be sharing recordings of their remarks, along with a special written summary, so that everybody has access and insights. So, I don't think it's going to all be breaking. Now you're going to have to wait. The statements are going to come out any second, or 4 minutes probably. And then the Q&A, I don't think they're going to ask him crazy questions. Yeah, Argentina. Again, Bessent said they're going to help intervene. Wait a minute. Okay, spies also taking a drop. Powell in 4. It's funny because I think, again, they're going to intervene and help out, but Argentina's only gone up because of inflation. So does the U.S. intervening bring them back up, or does it kill it? That's what I don't know. All right, boys. We'll get ready. Oh, I got the live video.
Degree in public policy from Harvard's John F. Kennedy School of Government, and a law degree from Harvard Law School.
Okay, get ready.
One of the highest honors and greatest privileges of his life was commanding his fellow soldiers.
I don't think he's not talking about Powell, but because again, Powell is either in 4 minutes or 14.
Someone who.
So yeah, other people are bringing it live.
Communities.
No, everyone's bringing it live now. All right.
Lose vital access.
So yeah, I don't know if he's talking Powell or not, but no pre-written statements came out yet.
Law school. The senator was an attorney in private practice back in Providence. He served 3 terms in the Rhode Island State Senate and 3 terms in the United States House. In 1996, the people of Rhode Island elected him to succeed Claiborne Pell
as the
state's 46th United States Senator. He has worked every day since to help make the federal government more efficient, effective, and responsive to the people of Rhode Island. He has a proven record of working on a bipartisan basis to help solve problems and achieve results. Many of us in this room also had the opportunity to go to his Business Leaders Day in Washington recently, and we saw firsthand the respect of his peers from both sides of the aisle. He is the senior member of the powerful Appropriations Committee, which controls the funding of the United States government, and has worked tirelessly to direct federal funding to the Ocean State.
Affirm.
He is one of just 8 United States senators in the history of the United States Senate to graduate from West Point, and has used that knowledge as the ranking member of the Armed Services Committee.
Bro, I can hear this guy like chewing.
Where he's played a pivotal role in safeguarding our nation and growing Rhode Island's defense
That's not
sector.
me, bro. Don't get mad at me.
As senior member
I hear
of the
somebody
Banking,
smacking
Housing,
in my
and Urban
ears,
Affairs
and it's
Committee.
not me.
He has authored several
you hear
key
it?
pieces of legislation, including historic Wall Street reforms, has been a nationally recognized leader for his dedication to protecting U.S. consumers. Today, Senator Reid continues to use the lessons he learned growing up in Cranston, which were deepened in the Army and have been tested in the halls of Congress, and stands up and speaks out for hardworking families who are the heart and soul of this country. He is dedicated to the nation's security and ongoing prosperity. Senator, we are grateful for your support for this event, for the work of the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce, your advocacy for our members and their businesses, and for being a champion for our state, and putting into practice each and every day the values that you learned at that kitchen table on Pontiac Avenue.
Look at the wire. Text is out.
Senator Jack Reid.
So look, it's reacting here. No, there's no risk-free path. Too restrictive, could hit labor market. easing too aggressively, leaves it undone. September cut.
Well, thank
Fed's
you
well
very much,
positioned.
Rick, for that
Price
extraordinarily
pressures could be
kind
short-lived.
introduction. I also
live.
want to thank Lori White for her great...
All right, I'll mute him. But yeah, Powell's statement's out right now. So market is not reacting to these old guys. They're reacting to this on the screen. Job creation appears to be weak to hold unemployment rate steady. Uncertainty is weighing on their outlook. Describes rate as modestly restrictive. Keeping door open to cuts. Public is trust in economic political institutions has been challenged. Public servants must focus tightly on carrying our critical mission. It's the same exact thing. Yeah, downside risks to employment have risen. Remember, we wanted him to be a lot weaker on jobs last time, and he was like, nah, it's fine. But he kind of said, we can't hold the rate. But yeah, otherwise, it's the same exact speech. I don't think, like I was telling you, I'm expecting that to be a carbon copy. But then the Q&A, that's going to really be it. So, yeah, I wouldn't, if anything, the bonds will probably drag down the SPY, but we're going down anyways. Until he answers a question. Wait, he'll answer a question, it'll sound half-ass bullish, and then it'll start moving up. No worries, Habibi.
Decisions in an exceptionally challenging economic and political environment. And he has made
unusual and challenging decline in both supply and demand of workers.
And good analysis, and that is something increasingly rare these days. It feels like a much different world today than the last time Chair Powell addressed this in 2019. The COVID-19 pandemic brought substantial economic upheaval, including unemployment rates we had not seen for decades. That crisis was followed by a serious bout of inflation. And in fact, every economist, left and right, were predicting not about the coming recession, but how severe it would be. Because of Jerome Powell, there was no recession. Chair Powell deserves credit for navigating those choppy waters. Nevertheless, average Americans are still facing significant economic challenges due to the chaotic policy agenda of the current administration. Tariffs, health care cuts, a massive debt increase, and interventions in the operations of major corporations and universities have all proved disruptive and costly. Real wages for most American workers remain stagnant. We still have not fully tamed inflation. Roughly 36 million Americans are experiencing poverty, and housing is too expensive and in too short a supply everywhere, but particularly here. The policy chaos is extended into a direct assault on the Fed's independence and personal attacks by the president against members of the Fed. But Chair Powell has met these challenges with equanimity and professionalism. He understands that a strong and independent central bank can contribute to sound economic policy in this nation. He understands the impact that monetary policy has on communities and families and businesses. He has somehow managed to stay laser focused on achieving the Fed's dual mandate to achieve maximum employment and stable prices. Chair Powell, thank you for doing your job with honesty, integrity, and humility. I speak for all of us here. There are few examples of patriotic, decent dedication to the nation than Jerome Powell. And thank you for returning to the Providence Chamber during your final few months as Fed Chair. You are more than welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in welcoming Chair of the Federal Reserve, Jay Powell.
All right, so this is where he's going to say everything we just read on this one. He whispered, he said, don't fuck this up, pal. He said, stand against the resistance. We're with you, brother.
Thank you for your warm reception, and thank you, Senator Reid, for your very kind introduction. It is a pleasure to be back in Rhode Island. The last time I had the opportunity to speak to the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce, as Lori mentioned, was in the fall of of 2019, actually November 25th, 2019, and I said then,
you know, he
quoting,
gave him
if the outlook
a
changes
little
materially,
Donald Trump fascism
policy
pep
will
talk.
change as well.
Stand strong, brother.
Well, little did any of us know, just a couple of months later, the COVID-19 pandemic arrived. Both the economy and our policy evolved dramatically in ways that no one could have predicted. Along with actions by Congress, the administration, and the private sector, the Fed's aggressive response helped stave off historically severe downside risks to the economy. The COVID pandemic came on the heels of the painfully slow, decade-long recovery from the global financial crisis. And these two back-to-back world historical crises have left behind scars that will be with us for a long time. In democracies around the world, public trust in economic and political institutions has been challenged. Those of us who are in public service at this time need to focus tightly on carrying out our critical missions to the best of our ability in the midst of stormy seas and powerful crosswinds. Throughout this turbulent period, central banks like the Fed have had to develop innovative new policies that were designed to deliver on our statutory goals during times of crisis, rather than for everyday use. Despite these two unique, extremely large shocks, the U.S. economy has performed as well or better than other large advanced economies around the world. And as always, it's essential that we continue to look back and learn the right lessons from these difficult years, and that process has been ongoing now for more than a decade. So, turning to the present day, the U.S. economy is showing resilience in the midst of substantial changes in trade and immigration policies, as well as in fiscal, regulatory, and geopolitical arenas. These policies are still emerging, and their longer-term implications will take some time to be seen. Recent data show that the pace of economic growth has moderated. The unemployment rate is low but has edged up. Job gains have slowed, and the downside risks to employment have risen. At the same time, inflation has risen recently and remains somewhat elevated. In recent months, it has become clear that the balance of risks has shifted, prompting us to move our policy stance closer to neutral at our FOMC meeting last week. GDP rose at a pace of about 1.5% in the first half of this year, down from 2.5% last year. The moderation in growth largely reflects a slowdown in consumer spending. Activity in the housing sector remains weak, but business investment in equipment and intangibles has picked up from last year's pace, largely reflecting the AI build-out. As noted in the September Beige Book, which I bet you wonder what it is, the September Beige Book, that's a report that gathers qualitative information from across the Federal Reserve System. We'll talk about later. Businesses continue to say that uncertainty is weighing on their outlook. Measures of consumer and business sentiment declined sharply in the spring. They have since moved up, but remain low relative to the start of the year. In the labor market, there has been a marked slowdown in both the supply of and the demand for workers, an unusual and challenging development. In this less dynamic and somewhat softer labor market, the downside risks to employment have risen. The unemployment rate edged up to 4.3% in August, but has remained relatively stable at a low level over the past year. Payroll job gains slowed sharply over summer months as employers added an average of just 29,000 per month over the past 3 months. The recent pace of job creation appears to be running below what we call the break-even rate, that is the rate needed to hold the unemployment rate constant. But a number of other labor market indicators remain broadly stable. For example, the ratio of job openings to unemployment remains near 1, and multiple measures of job openings have been moving roughly sideways, not down, as have initial claims for unemployment insurance. Inflation, meanwhile, has eased significantly from its highs of 2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. The latest available data indicate that total PCE prices rose. That's personal consumption expenditure prices. That's the.
And then another headline from the White House on Argentina.
Rose 2.7% over the 12 months ending in August, up from 2.3% in August 2024. Excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.9% last month, also higher than a year ago. Goods prices, after falling last year, are driving the pickup inflation. incoming data and surveys suggest that those price increases largely reflect higher tariffs rather than broader price pressures. Disinflation for services continues, including for housing services. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up on balance over the course of this year on news about tariffs. Beyond the next year or so, however, most
trying to
measures
move
of
off the
longer-term
He hasn't said
inflation
shit.
expectations
If anything,
remain
people might just
consistent
calm
with our
down that
2% inflation goal.
he's risk off, or again, the risk
The overall
event
economic
fading, now
effects
they're
of the
talking.
significant
But
changes
it's
in
nothing.
trade, immigration, fiscal,
You gotta
and
wait till the
regulatory
Q&A.
policy remain to be seen. A reasonable base case is that the tariff-related effects on inflation will be relatively short-lived, a one-time shift in the price level. Now, a one-time increase does not mean all at once. Tariff increases will likely take some time to work their way through supply chains. As a result, this one-time increase in the price level will likely be spread over several quarters and show up as somewhat higher inflation during that period. But uncertainty around the path of inflation remains high. We will carefully assess and manage the risk of higher and more persistent inflation. We'll make sure that this one-time increase in prices does not become an ongoing inflation problem. Turning to monetary policy, near-term risks to inflation are tilted to the upside, and risks to employment are tilted to the downside, a challenging situation. Two-sided risks mean that there is no risk-free path. If we ease too aggressively, we could leave the inflation job unfinished and need to reverse course later to fully restore 2% inflation. If we maintain restrictive policy too long, the labor market could soften unnecessarily. When our goals are in tension like this, our framework has long called for us to balance both sides of our dual mandate. The increased downside risks to employment have shifted the balance of risks to achieving our goals. We therefore judged it appropriate at our last meeting to take another step toward a more neutral policy stance, lowering the target range for the federal funds rate by 25 basis points to 4 to 4.25%. This policy stance, which I personally see as still modestly restrictive, leaves us well positioned to respond to potential economic developments. Our policy is not on a preset course. We will continue to determine the appropriate stance based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment and bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans, and we understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. So thank you again for having me here, and I very much look forward to our discussion. Thanks.
Okay, game time.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon once again, Mr. Chair. Thank you for those opening remarks and reminding us just how tremendously the world has changed and evolved since you were last here in 2019. President of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, Susan Collins, is also here with us today. And President Collins, we have had the opportunity many times to discuss with you the conditions in this Fed region, of which Rhode Island is part of the Boston region. So, Mr. Chairman, I would ask you to think about your comments reflecting on the importance, what you have said, the importance of deeply understanding local labor markets. And I'm wondering if in your deliberations leading up to the most recent FOMC meeting, whether there was anything particularly distinctive in what you saw coming out of the Boston Beige Book.
So let me say a word about the Beige Book. So there are 12 reserve banks, as you know, around the country, and each of them has deep ties into not just the business community, but medical community, educational community, nonprofits. And each FOMC cycle, which is sort of 8 of those a year, they do a deep dive and they collect lots and lots of information about the economy. And so, and that information gets collated and put into what we call the beige book, because it's beige. And we, we're not that original. And so we get that a couple weeks before each FOMC meeting. And I have to say, I don't know of any source of sort of qualitative information about the economy that even approaches this. It's just a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and I personally find it very useful. Sometimes you look at that book and you see significant regional differences, and this is not one of those times. So, for example, the Boston Fed piece in the last beige book talked about lots of spending on AI. Well, guess what? That was pretty common across 8 or 9 of the districts. So I would say nothing really jumped out from the Boston piece. What you saw was all around the country, you saw pretty modest growth, wage and price inflation at modest to moderate levels, the economy growing but not fast, and uncertainty, significant uncertainty about federal public policy is kind of weighing on investments and the decisions about investment and hiring, except in the area of the AI build-out, which is just going really strong pretty much in many parts of the country.
So nothing distinctive from the Boston region that would inform your future decision-making, looking at the setting of monetary policy?
What I saw from Boston was quite similar and overlapping with a number of other districts. Again, sometimes that's the case where things are pretty much of a piece. Sometimes different regions, particularly if there's a commodity price thing, you would see maybe things in the commodity-oriented regions doing differently from other regions of the country. Right now, it's it's much more the same around the country, I would say.
So let's talk about and build on what you described a few moments ago about the dual mandate of the Fed. And if you could talk about these conditions that wax and wane over time, what signals will you be looking for in the run-up to the next FOMC meeting, which is in roughly 30 days?
We have 2 goals, as you mentioned, maximum employment and price stability, and they're equal goals under the law. So almost all the time, they work together. They complement one another. So for example, when the economy is weak, the unemployment rate might be high and the inflation rate would be low, and that it calls for stimulus from us. And when the economy is really strong and the labor market is tight, that's when inflation will be moving up, and so policy might be a little bit tighter. That's almost always the case. Right now is the quite unusual case where risks to, as I mentioned in my remarks, risks to employment are to the downside and to inflation to the upside. Now we only have one tool, which is monetary policy, really interest rates, and really it's calling for different answers. So for a long time, we have a document called the Statement on Longer Run Goals and Monetary Policy Strategy. We call it the consensus statement to save time. That says, for a long time, it said that when the 2 goals are in tension, we'll look at how far each one is from its goal and the time that it's expected to take to get back to that goal. And so we balance the 2 goals. So what we've done all year, this year, is we've had our policy rate has been tight because inflation has been above our target, but the labor market was very solid. Now, over the last really 4 months, really over the summer, the labor market has softened, payroll jobs have dropped a lot, so we can't really say that anymore. And I think what that told us is that stance of really having a tight focus on inflation really needs to moderate toward a more balanced approach. And so that's why we took the action we took at our last meeting. And as we go to our next meeting, to your question, we'll be asking ourselves, we'll be looking at the data very carefully, labor market data, growth data, inflation data, all the vast quantities of data that we get, and asking ourselves, is our policy in the right place? And if not, we move it there.
Some may wonder about the frothiness of the markets, the markets reaching record heights and also record valuations. How does the Fed think about that in the equation?
Financial markets? So we monitor financial markets very carefully. Our policy works through financial conditions, so that's credit spreads and interest rate levels and equity prices in the aggregate that can affect spending, for example. We look at all of that, but really our focus is on our two goals, and that is maximum employment and price stability. And when we see one of them weakening, we're going to respond appropriately with our tools. And in this case, that meant reducing the federal funds rate by 25 basis points. And we'll see what the future brings, but that's what we do. We look carefully at financial conditions, more from a perspective though of financial stability. So we see that the banks are well capitalized. Actually, in the aggregate,
watch out if he starts changing that definition of financial conditions.
No question about that. But
market's freaked out when he's adjusted that. I don't know if they're reacting to that or all the big tech through the low.
So the federal funds rate really governs consumer credit, but not
interesting.
Not so as
financial
it pertains
condition
to
talks
rates.
again.
Correct.
See if that definition was a little different.
And let's talk about how
he gave you the spreads one, and then
is going
we want this.
See any difference in the intervening months relative to in easing of interest rates and the ability and maybe even more confidence to spend.
So we don't set mortgage rates, but when we change the federal funds rate, it will affect the mortgage rates and also all other consumer borrowing rates. Really, all interest rates that are on a floating basis will move a little bit or even a lot if they're short term, based on our moves. So the people will feel that over time. Also, it's not just these days. The market is pricing in the next 6 months what's going to happen to rates. So this is something that wasn't really the case 50 years ago. Now markets listen to us and follow, and they make an estimation of where they think rates are going, and so they'll price things in. And so longer term rates will move because of what the market expects, market participants expect us to do. So you'll begin to see, and you're already seeing changes in rates long before we make the decision. It can often be already priced in.
Is it fair to say that the Fed and the markets really have a higher tolerance
it can be.
for risk today, more so than perhaps before the pandemic?
I think if you look at some prices, then they're elevated relative to
Listen
historical
to this.
levels.
They're trying to get him to panic about the bubble.
There were times before the pandemic.
They're trying to. Think about the questions. All three of those.
Prices will move up and down.
They're trying to get him to talk
that,
and corner himself on being worried about the asset prices going high.
Financial assets.
Think about it.
We don't have a view that we know what the right price of any particular financial asset
that's his go-to answer.
We do look at overall financial conditions. And
is it Powell explaining to you why he's not worried of overheating if we have a bubble and everything doubles?
Which is what we're trying to achieve. But you're right. It by many measures, for example, equity prices are fairly highly valued.
There you go.
Let's segue to the topic of AI.
So you said equity is highly valued, but this, look at everything else.
Periphery stocks.
They're letting them slide.
Really driving the markets in many ways. Let's talk a little bit about the great unknown of AI. And if we think about various ages, our industrial ages, whether it be steam.
See, if we have a big dump, it'll be off of that.
And now to the age of AI.
But other than that, see if the market lets him slide.
Consider this to be
I don't think this question matters as much.
The most disruptive force ever in modern American history.
I think wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, that's their
I would
audio
say
with the buzzing.
Clearly, generative AI has all the earmarks of an emerging technology that could be very important in our economy and in our society. But it's very early to be, to be making that kind of bold statement. So, what we're seeing is companies and institutions like the Fed, for that matter, are starting to experiment with how this new set of tools can be used in our operations. And it's very early days on that. And I think we have to wait and see. That's a good thing. I know many of the large financial institutions and other central banks, and we are asking ourselves, how can this help us do our jobs better? And I think it's going to be a period of experimentation over a period of years. And the history is always that there's a lot of fear that technological innovation will eliminate jobs. What has tended to happen in history over time is that it just raises productivity and creates new jobs to replace the old jobs. And that happens.
It was AI, but this is really about jobs.
A long time,
you
but
should
ultimately,
listen.
That has been the pattern for the last couple of hundred years.
So I don't think Powell's worried about AI
Is this time
and
going
jobs.
to be different? I just don't think we know yet. I don't think anybody knows.
He's saying he doesn't know. He's more worried about immigration.
You are a labor market futurist, also a historian, And the concept of AI and humans in the loop, very profound impact on the labor force. What are your thoughts about specifically agentic AI as a differentiator from generative AI? And how will the Fed be looking at the impacts of the workforce, the labor participation rate, given the unknown of what could happen with displacement around AI tools at all ends of the spectrum?
You know, our tools work on demand, basically. Lower interest rates, higher interest rates, they work on demand. When there are structural changes in the economy, there's not a lot that an interest rate change can do for that. And so if you're talking about distributional issues or labor force participation or retraining or any of the things that come to mind in connection with those questions, that's really going to be something for legislators and the private sector. We of course, we have many labor economists, and a good portion of them are studying what the potential effects of AI on the labor force, and many
Yo,
great
bro, I was looking at
around
that
the
too.
country and around
I
the
don't
world
know. I think he has the same posture, but he's holding something on his lap.
It really is.
That's why
too
he's
early
sitting
to
there with
say.
his
I
legs
think
like that.
I think you can say that some jobs are going to be phased out, some jobs are going to evolve, and people are going to be further trained and that sort of thing, and be able to keep a job like that. And there'll be new jobs that come. And how will that balance work out, and what will be the timing of it? I think it's just quite hard to say.
But how does that factor into the deliberations on a near-term basis? Things are moving so quickly, and the observation and the argument that artificial intelligence isn't just impacting those entry-level jobs and those, quasi-unskilled jobs, but really tentacles reaching into highly skilled professions, whether it be finance, whether it be communications and media, whether it be healthcare, whether it be law, finance. So all ends of the spectrum, highly educated individuals down to more easily automated tasks. Sort of a really interesting problem for those of you that are studying labor market economics. How do you approach that?
Well, a lot of what we're doing with our time is trying to understand the current position of the economy, what's actually going on in the economy today. Pardon me. So part of that is hiring rate has really dropped. Job creation has dropped very sharply. So what are the factors there? So I mentioned earlier, I think, part of it just is there's a lot of uncertainty about the direction of public policy, and so companies are holding off, they're not hiring, and when you don't hire through attrition, your labor force shrinks and you save money that way. That may be a way of passing on tariff costs, it may be something like that. So that's happening. Lots of questions around whether AI is a major factor associated with the relatively low hiring rate for people just graduating from school and just entering the labor market. And people are doing studies on that, and I looked at one from Stanford, another from the New York Fed in the last week, and the sense of it was, we think we can find some evidence that AI, generative AI, is having some, it's one of the reasons here, but we can't really say it's the main reason. And we have our Jackson Hole conference every year in Jackson.
Is this Powell acknowledging some AI impact on the job market?
And one of the big debates
it's almost as direct as it gets.
Going on with AI, and there was a professor from, I want to say, Columbia, who just basically said, there's no evidence that this is acting any differently than her view was, not acting any differently from other technological, movements, waves, and so I think she would be more at the end of an optimist, a techno-optimist. We've all, there are books out there that will tell you the world is ending, and but I don't think we know. Again, I think we're going to see how this evolves, and again, if it does turn out to be something where labor force participation really declines in a way that creates, social difficulties, that's going to be something that legislators and the private sector will have to address. We just don't know that yet, though.
Over the weekend, I read where you had been discussing, just picking up on what you said about Gen Z and college graduates and any possible disruptions in trying to find jobs. So Gen Z would be those born between 1997 and 2012, roughly ages 13 to 28. What are your thoughts on college enrollment? We'll talk a little bit about labor disruption in just a minute, and Jackson Hole, because I know that's a favorite of yours. But
damn, Gen Z, you guys are 28 now?
Today may have
get a
family
fucking
members that fall
job.
squarely in that 13 to 28.
Gen Z's 28!
What do you say about that?
What the fuck?
I mean, again, we all see the data that it's just gotten tough for people just entering the labor force to be hired. But remember, the overall national aggregate hiring rate is at very, very
This
low
whole
level.
time, y'all be
The layoff rate
LARPing
is
around
also
like y'all
very, very
children.
low.
What
You're
the
in a
fuck
low
you mean,
fire,
28?
low hire economy, and it feels like companies are just, they've kind of stopped hiring or slowed down their hiring because they want to see how this all shakes out. We're having very important changes to economic policy in the United States, and companies and people are wondering how's that going to work out. So I think that's part of it. The other thing I would add, though, is there's a lot of good scholarship around technological innovation and inequality, if you will. And the sense of it is really that if schools and society give students graduating the skills and aptitudes they need to benefit from evolving technology, you can have declining inequality over time. And that's what the United States had for many, many years, up until about 1970, when
we flooded the
US
monetary
educational
system with
attainment
dollars
kind
and
of
broke the
plateaued,
system
and
like we're trying to do
inequality
again.
takes off. So it's really down to having the skills. So kids who come out of school today with technological skills and can work with this new technology, they're probably going to be fine. They're going to be great. If you don't have those skills, though, you're increasingly left with less attractive employment options. So in a way, it's an educational issue.
Our society is our education system, and you spoke about inequality, particularly the digital divide, and thinking about where the United States really has paced among countries throughout the world. Particularly, that was a subject that you initiated at Jackson Hole back in August. What are your thoughts on how that is likely to really change the way we look at technology as a force for productivity and advancement?
I mean, technology has been raising incomes and productivity for really a couple hundred years since the Industrial Revolution. It's been an amazing thing for the quality of human life, and there's no reason why that has to change. In the United States was the first country to have gender-blind secondary education, and if you go back, you'll see that there's a great book on this, but just basically the U.S. had fast technological innovation for a century, and also declining inequality because people were coming out and their educational the capabilities they took out of the educational system gave them the ability to benefit from evolving technology. So, and that's really the key, because technology, what it does is it makes us more productive. One summer I worked on a project that was building houses, and I basically had a shovel, and I
used to build houses
most of the summer. And
How?
now that would be a Bobcat, which can do 100 times
Jerome
the work, no
the
blisters,
builder,
no water
can
breaks.
he
It's just
build
much more productive. And you see housing production's gotten, at least it did get for a while, much more productive, not so much lately. But that I think is the story. And while U.S. educational attainment, college graduation rates and things like that leveled out, they're still going
probably
up.
over budget.
The rest
too.
of the
That's
world
crazy.
caught on and has really caught up in terms of educational attainment. And that really is the key. To your point, your educational system, your country is your educational system ultimately. It's the people that come out and what can they do, and a variety of other factors too, obviously. But I think that's a key element. I'm struck by this because this was a major factor at our recent conference, and we had a great conversation about it.
Well, tell us about the book. You gave me a homework assignment the other day, so I did download it, but I think everyone should follow that lead.
All right. It's a book's called The Race Between Education and Technology. It's by Claudia Golden and Larry Katz, two Harvard economists, and it basically talks about the race between education and technology. So I recommend that to anybody. It was written in, I want to say, 2005, and they basically presented at Jackson Hole, they presented an update to the current day. The findings basically hold. It's very, I mean, I'm not a PhD economist. I read it 20 years ago.
But you said it still holds very much true today.
It does. And I think it's a good explanation for why the U.S. has had,
I've never read it. I kind of want to look into it. Like a good book from 05.
Their thesis, and I think it's they call it also skill bias technical change. So you need skills to benefit, but if you have those skills, then technology makes you more productive, and that's what we need. Incomes can only rise if productivity is increasing. We're sort of working as many hours as we can work now, so it really is down to how much output can you have in an hour, and that's productivity. So I would recommend that. I'm not getting any royalties for that, but by the way, Claudia Golden won the Nobel Prize for her work about 2 years ago. So I'm not the only one who thinks it was good work.
Thanks, Powell.
Chair Powell, let's move on to tariffs. This is an issue that confronts the business people. And
she said, I brought up your book. Now let me humiliate you with Trump questions.
Remarks, you indicated that you believe that the costs of the tariff movement is in fact more transitory than embedded in supply chain. So I think we would appreciate hearing more about how the Fed thinks about evolving tariff policy.
So we're now collecting a good bit of revenue. The federal government collecting a good chunk of revenue, $300 or $400 billion a year pace. And the question is, who's paying that? And the candidates for paying those tariffs would be the exporter, the foreign exporter, or someone on our shores. It could be a company or a retailer, or someone who's using the imported product to manufacture something, or the end consumer. And so so far, in its incredibly early days, it doesn't look like the overseas exporters are carrying the bulk of it. It looks like it's that middle group. It's retailers and it's importers, and they're not passing along to consumers that much of the cost. So the actual effects on inflation have been quite modest.
Nice.
So far.
He blamed the corporations.
Really
I thought he was about to throw it all on Trump.
Amount, but
and say it was hitting the consumer.
I mentioned
he's blaming the middle.
PCE inflation is 2.9%, maybe 0.3 or 0.4 of that.
He answered without offending China or Trump.
So it's not the big factor. It's not a big inflationary thing, but it is something that is driving up inflation a bit. And the question is, are companies then, are they going to eventually be able to pass that stuff through? And then that might drive inflation up a little higher. So we've been watching this since the beginning. Half our mandate is inflation. And I would say that the pass through to consumers has been later and less than we expected. How much of that will continue, I don't know. But the responsible thing from our standpoint was to watch and wait, because it's our job to make sure we don't make a mistake on inflation.
Well, that was my question. Do you imagine that is going to change, where the cost of tariffs will be more deeply embedded and passed on to the consumer? What do you foresee as?
So our forecast, and I think almost all the forecasts are for there to be a one-time pass-through, which will go through the end of this year, well into next year, and that by the end of next year, the one-time increase from the tariffs will be done, and you'll be back to the non-tariff related inflation, which should be much closer to our 2% goal. That's almost everyone's base case. It's actually our job to make sure that that's the outcome, though. So we can't be in a situation where we're just going to assume that. We can't leave that part of the goal unguarded. And so that's why we've been careful about cutting. We didn't want to cut too early. I mentioned in my remarks, if we cut too early, we may find out in a year that inflation actually wasn't under control and it's back up to 3.5% or 4%. No one thinks this is the base case, but that's the risk of cutting too early or too much. Of course, the risk of cutting too late, as I mentioned, is that we unnecessarily, the labor market weakens unnecessarily. There's no risk-free path, and it's a very difficult policy environment when your two goals are telling you two different things. You've got to make a compromise, and we really, again, haven't been in that situation for many, many years. It does happen, but it's happened now and we'll manage our way through it. But we sort of have to look at both of them as equal.
SMCI
we can't just
kind of
say we're going to do this one and not that
1.6.
Unless this one is clearly a greater risk. And now they're coming into closer balance, I would say. We do see meaningful weakness in the labor market now, very low job creation. The unemployment rate's still low, though, and the quits rate is low. And
every time he's about to sound bearish on labor, he fucking...
unusual stability of much lower demand and much lower supply for workers. It's a really unusual kind of a balance, if you want to call it that. But nonetheless, we think it's downside risk.
Well,
and then we're still melting down a little bit.
What are some of the factors that are leading to depressed demand for labor?
So depressed demand for labor, based on surveys and talking to people who are doing hiring, a big chunk of it is that they're just unsure about what to do. Businesses, and I'd love to talk to people after this. Businesses don't want to do a lot of hiring. They may be postponing major capex, major initiatives, major acquisitions, and maybe they'll replace.
Unless your name's Nvidia,
but they're not looking to grow. This isn't every company and every part of every company in the world. It's just an effect kind of at the margin. That's got to be part of it. I think that's the demand side. The supply side, of course, has a lot to do with immigration policy. So immigration was at a very high level for 2 or 3 years before this year, and now immigration has really gone close to zero, and immigration is not really contributing to the labor force growth now, whereas it's been most of what the labor force growth was, and now so at the same time you've got declining demand and also declining supply of workers, of new workers.
One of your passions is demystifying the Fed. You enjoy speaking about it, and those that are Fed watchers are wondering,
and he made it all the more mysterious.
Rate cuts before the end of the year. Of course, we're
uncertain
about that,
talk.
if I understood your comments correctly. What does it mean to demystify the Fed, and what can each of us in this room do to be better Fed watchers for the benefit of our own businesses, if you will?
So not so many years ago, maybe 40 years ago, and for a long time before that, the main theory of central banking was to be mysterious and obscure. In fact, Montague Norman, who's a very famous former head of the Bank of England, but ending in the middle of World War II, famously said, never apologize, never explain. And he thought that monetary policy worked back, and everyone thought it works best when no one understands. It's kind of mysterious. So starting maybe 40 years ago, a bunch of economists, including Alan Blinder and a number of others, said, you know what, that's wrong, because if markets and the public understand the way you'll react to incoming data, then they'll kind of do your job for you. And so they argued for greater transparency. And people said, you know what, that makes sense. So central banks started being transparent. The Fed didn't even issue a post-Federal Open Market Committee announcement until 1994, and then did so as an experiment just to see what would happen. Now, so if you fast forward through, the 30 years since then, now we have a post-meeting statement, we have minutes, we have press conferences, every FOMC participant is on Squawk Box, we have a press release. So, and maybe some people say it's too much, it's excessive, but so that's
I'm one of those.
We try really hard to communicate
too much.
with the
He
interested
talks too much and he's too late.
in a way that is useful and comprehensible and jargon-free. That's what we focus on, and that's all we're trying to do. So we don't use their, every profession has their jargon, and you kind of need it for internal conversations, but we try not to do that. So that's
but Josh calls it Abbey Vine, and he's a fucking idiot.
Okay. I wouldn't say, I can't make anyone a better Fed watcher.
Josh calls it Nvidia because the first decade of that company, they called it Nvidia. Now it's Nvidia, and Josh is the bad guy. Right, pal? Yeah, simplify that shit.
Elevated levels of uncertainty, even in normal times. The economy is fundamentally, no one has been able to predict the economy more than for the next few months. It's an unpredictable, it's this enormous entity, and it's just not that predictable. So we have to manage we take very much a risk.
I told you what was going to happen with real estate and money supply in 2020.
Is that we don't exactly understand.
You knew what was going to happen too, pal.
What the current state of the economy is and where it's going to go. So we try to have
He's fucking
policy
smart-ass,
that can
sophisticated,
cover the
simple-ass,
range of
sophisticated
plausible outcomes,
lawyer.
not just one outcome. So that's one thing. So we're never saying that we know the economy is going to do this or we know it's going to do that, because honestly, it just, famous statement is, financial forecasters are a humble lot with much to be humble about. So
yeah, the Lord. We all dumb as
say.
hell. We dumb. I'm dumb too. Josh got a lot of shit wrong in between. Praise Jesus.
That you
Jesus. You need
I
the
just
Jesus.
Have to say this. Whenever we
Nah,
make
look at
decisions,
you got a new low,
we're
running away
never,
from the
ever
Lord. That's
thinking
why.
about political things. And so we,
The
know,
world
we're
takes
based
your
in
high
Washington,
to
D.C.,
666.
and
You see what I'm
many
saying?
of
Seek the
people,
Lord.
in
Thank
Congress, and they're often things are seen through a lens of, is it good for this party or bad for this party or this politician? We're just not looking at things that way. We're looking at what's the best thing for the people that we serve in the medium term. What's the best policy? And many people don't believe us because they think, come on, you're really political. But the truth is, most of the people who are calling us political, it's just a cheap shot. And also, we don't engage. We don't.
It's not a cheap shot, brother.
Our argument
Why
is
did you
doing our
cut
jobs.
right
We don't-
before
we
the
don't get into
election and then
and
go
forth
back to
with,
this little
with
pausing?
external people. We just do
You
our
did
jobs.
it already
We keep our
for
head down, do our
years,
jobs. That's
brother.
what we do.
No. You opened a can of worms.
So those are two things
Since
that
you
we
cut rates, political violence before an election, I could blame you for political violence, Powell. If I really wanted to. If I wanted to be like all these researchers and get the data and make a big report and all mother.
With the members here
Don't even get me started.
Again, to
That's why
to help us be
we don't
more
believe you.
prepared as we begin.
Still
to,
respect you though. You did an
look
amazing
to
job. Other than that,
2026 and
so I still love you,
strategic
Jay.
plans for business and things on the horizon that would help to, of course, create more jobs and more prosperity.
So I'll say one more thing that struck me just now about the Fed, and that is, remember, we have a really important job: maximum employment, price stability. We regulate and supervise the banks. We operate parts of the payment system, but those things are really
RKLB
about
is still
cyclical
going,
demand management and financial
I don't know what to
stability.
tell you.
The policies that really matter for the U.S. economy in
Disney
the long
price
run,
hike?
things like investment, particularly investment in people. That's not something we can do. I think we get a disproportionate amount of attention compared to the things that really matter for the country, which are the things that Congress can do and the private sector can do, which are the things that will really matter for future generations, are not.
Yo, dog, if you bring your balance sheet back down to not paying $1 trillion a year, you're right.
This has been great, as always. I've enjoyed talking to so many people here today.
You just spending more than the military, Powell.
I'd love to
You
get
don't
out
even
and
own
talk
a
to
single
people who are
weapon.
working
You have
in
no
the
submarines.
economy.
How are you spending $1 trillion a year?
Most of my career was in the
You're giving it
financial
to
sector.
Jamie and Brian, Mr. Monahan and Jamie,
talking to people rather than sitting in
Mr.
my office
Solomon,
looking at aggregate
David.
data on
You
the
got him
economy.
on
So
first name basis.
This is a much more comfortable place to be.
You are headed back to D.C. later this afternoon.
Yes.
What does the rest of your day look like?
Get home. I won't get home until after dinner, so it looks like me working on the plane on the way back. So anyway, thank you so much. It's been
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
Chair Jerome Powell, Chair of the Federal Reserve.
I'm glad they ended it with him second to last question. I don't know why people don't believe me. Oh, man. So that's perfect timing, actually. So I love you guys. I thought it was going to go for a little bit more, but I think that was just about an hour. So not bad at all, my friends. But you know what time it is. It's time to move on over to Philo now. So I love you. And God bless you. He didn't really say much. I mean, the market kept going. It doesn't even look like Powell spoke today, if you really, really look at it. The speech was pretty much exactly the same, and then he just started the questions again. There was opportunities. I chimed in. It sounded like he was about to say something, and then he came right back to. He went right back to what's it called, to just the same exact question. He'll say one thing, walk it back a little bit, say the other, walk it back, and then Disney's still going. They had that price hike news. So yeah, other than that though, I don't think it was bad. Good event. I think we kind of chilled out for a little on him just walking on stage, but yeah, man, it's not that bad, and I think it's kind of good. Today's your first cool off in a while, but Yeah, not much has really occurred. Remember, you did have PMI data this morning, and no real reaction. PCE, if that's going to change Powell's mind, he'll get a little bit of data on Friday. But other than that, earnings after the bell, my friends, and a couple of other things. So we will see where it all leads us. But God bless all of you. I hope your day is good. We did add to the long term. Again, I'm a crackhead, and I front ran my deposit. So I did grab TAP for the long term. Other than that, I think that's your only important updates. And now it is time to move on over to a place called Philo. Doesn't that sound exciting? So, Chad, I love you, and God bless you. And if you would like to hear some Jesus talk, some motivation, some daily life, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about today. So, I just, whatever's gonna, I don't know, man. You might get offended, you might not. I'm not trying to, but I love you. And for real, if I could give you another alternative, you should just take a walk for the next hour and just go to get away from the computer and enjoy life, brother. Okay? I just bought a farm. So I don't know. I'm not the guy. I'm biased, but I think you should go for a walk. Go for a lap. Enjoy yourself, man. Get away from the computer. Think. And yeah. So enjoy your day. But I hope I see you at Philo. But only go if you want to be there. Because don't pay for things you don't want. We're going to talk about that. You pay attention. The VIX is on the high. Do you guys notice that the VIX... So remember, yesterday you were going up. And you were going actually just straight up. And the VIX kind of popped. But notice, the VIX isn't up as much today. Even though it's still kind of continuing that move, but you've just gone straight down. So it's not as volatile. And think about it. We're still, like literally, bro, you're at 66, 68. Remember, 6666 was insane on Friday. And that's kind of where you are right now. So good thing we're going to go to Philo. You guys need to repent. All right? So I love you. God bless you. I'll see you there. Peace. Spies dumping.